What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to your home for all things combat sports.
Yo.
It's good to be live again.
Yes,
the
sir.
first pay-per-view of 2024.
Let's go.
Guys, jump in the chat. We put a poll up. Let us know who you think is going to win the first fight of the night. We have Movsar Evloev, the undefeated Russian grappler, versus Arnold Allen. Sorry about that. A little technical difficulties with the phone there. Let's jump into the chat. We got Danger in the chat. What's up, Danger? We got Jordan Plute and Cubano. What's going on, guys? Yes.
What's up, brother?
Thank you guys for joining.
Yes.
And so, Nick, a lot of submissions so far early in the night. I missed the last couple of fights because we were getting everything set up to go live, but certainly a bloody night so far. John Anik's got some blood on the suit, and Canada, Toronto's getting exactly what they hoped for.
Yeah, well, the flag is red and white, so I guess they wanted to bloody up his coat and his white shirt and everything nice that the UFC brought up to Toronto. But this is a good one. You know, for the UFC, the beginning of the year is always so important because it sets the tone for the rest of the year. And I really do feel like this was a major test because a lot of people looked at this card and they're like, it's too top heavy. We don't know, there's not that many stars on this one thing. I think Sean Strickland's carrying the load. I think Sean Strickland was put to the test. I know he's only been the champ for a little while, but they're like, you know what? I think this guy's a star. I think we got something in Sean Strickland, and that's why they put him on there. Of course, it's a little bit top heavy. This fight in particular coming up, Allen versus
Movsar,
Movsar, I can't get his name right.
Evloev.
Yeah,
it's
if you guys have
tongue twister.
Yeah, if you have a speech therapist, let him know. I need some help on that one. But this fight should be awesome. A lot of people in the gym and just online and everybody have been buzzing about this one. 19-2 versus 17-0. I mean, this is going to scream who's next up as far as contenders go at 145.
Yeah, well, if you look at Arnold Allen, he's finished Calvin Kattar by knockout.
Yeah.
He's finished Dan Hooker by knockout. Movsar is still looking for that elusive finish in the UFC, but he's been dominant.
Yeah.
Over 30 takedowns in 6 fights. We kind of know what each guy is going to try to do in this one because Arnold Allen's going to have a substantial striking advantage. And Evloev, I think, believes that he's got the grappling advantage. My pick early on when we did a video breaking down this fight was Arnold Allen, and I'm going to stick with that pick because I think that his strength and his grappling defense, his ability to thwart the wrestling takedown attempts are really going to be what allows him to keep the fight where he wants it. And I think Movsar could be a little bit of a fish out of water because Allen, if you see now on the screen, he is an absolute brutal finisher.
Yeah, well, when it comes to strength, you kind of have to call it even Stevens with them. If you've looked at some of the footage that Movsar has been putting out, he looks like a monster. Mm-hmm. He's an absolute freak. And, everybody's always talked about how Arnold Allen's kind of a freak of nature. He's built like a Roman god. He looks amazing. But you got to say the exact same thing about Movsar. He looks just as good. For 145, they fill out the frame about as good as you possibly can. So I think the grappling is going to be one of those things where Diego Lopez gave Movsar a really difficult time because he's such a heavy jiu-jitsu player, threats from the bottom. He knew he was going to get taken down at short notice. So he worked really offensively on the ground from the bottom. Arnold Allen doesn't really utilize that set of skills. I'm sure he's really good on the ground and from his back, but that's not his bread and butter. That's not what he's going to go to. And I think that a lot of people look at Arnold Allen just as a heavy-handed striker who's good at shucking away good grapplers and getting back to his feet and doing what he does best, which is put power on you. But I think he's actually more dynamic of a striker. And if he's able to utilize a lot of footwork, a lot of, range deception and keep Movsar pressing forward in the way that Movsar likes to do, which is generally a bit heavy in the front leg, then he's going to be able to eat up Movsar's legs early on, and that will slow down the potential takedowns that come later in the fight. I think if Arnold Allen does that, that's his key to victory. If he doesn't do that, this guy's going to be able to get a hold of him. And I know that strength-wise, they're about the same, but when you have the technique of somebody like Movsar, you can tend to get somebody to the ground in a 15-minute fight, even if they do have a strength equal to you.
Yeah, well, the fact that it's 3 rounds is also going to play in here because if Evloev is able to get takedowns in the first couple of rounds, that will force.
What's up?
Yo, Danger. What's going on?
He threw me some love personally. Nice to see you, man.
There we go. So, because if Movsar is able to get up a couple of rounds, then that will force Arnold Allen to take more risks and take more chances, which a lot of times when you're going against a just absolute technical superstar as far as grappling is concerned, that allows the takedowns to come a little bit easier in the third round because you have to come forward. You have to give them that forward momentum that they want to take you down. So look for Allen to really try to get these first couple of rounds.
Look at the body on him.
Movsar coming out. These 145ers are filling out the frame.
There's something in the water over in Russia.
I'm telling you, no doubt.
I need to get my hands on some of those spring waters or whatever it is they're drinking over there.
Dude, he looks like a welterweight of old. It's insane how big he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's a monster. 17-0. Obviously, it's hard to finish anybody in the UFC, but if he's able to do it against Arnold Allen tonight, man, you're talking about a legit rise in 45.
Well, most people in the poll now, 67% to 33%, think that Evloev is going to win this fight. So we've got 6 votes. I'm still going to stick with Allen. Who did you pick in this one?
I picked
Movsar.
Movsar, yeah.
So it's going to be a good fight. But yeah, he fills out the 145 frame. I can't imagine it's possible to be any bigger than him and still weigh in at the 145 limit.
Yeah, doesn't have the full chin beard, but there's definitely not a mustache in sight. So the
grappling's coming heavy.
Yeah.
But for Allen, I think it'll be really interesting. What he needs to do early, in my opinion, is stop a couple of takedowns, and more so than just stopping the takedowns, do some damage on the exchange or the break from the takedown. So if he's able to sprawl or shuck Movsar off of him and then land a good kick or a tight elbow or short hook off of those successful takedown defense, that will really allow him to start to do some damage and make Movsar think twice when he shoots in next time.
Yeah, but these guys that grew up in the Greco-Roman world, or if they grew up wrestling, they're tenacious as can be. They're not going to quit shooting. You have to break them physically, because mentally you're not going to break them from shooting. If that's what they want to do, if that's in their game plan, their coach wants them to do it, they're going to go out there and hit if their coach and them game plan for 2 takedowns around, they're going to go for them.
Right.
If they game plan for 3. So that's why Allen needs to chop that leg. Watch Movsar when he fights. He's a pressure forward fighter, but he gets heavy in his front leg, and you can't check kicks when you're too heavy in your front leg. If Arnold picks up on that and he's very elusive around the outside, that's going to slow his opponent down tremendously, which will actually give him a decent chance. But if you just, if you go in there and crack him a couple of times, then he's going to get more and more desperate with his shots. And if you haven't beaten up his body enough in that short amount of time, now you're talking about a fresh guy that's really tenacious.
Right.
So we got to chop his legs up. You got to start to hurt him. And then you got to start to break his will a little bit after you've slowed him down a little bit and you're dealing with a lesser takedown artist.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you really think it's going to come down to how much damage that Arnold Allen can do to that front leg of Movsar, given the fact that he's so heavy in that front leg when he's shooting his takedowns?
I think so. Yeah. When he's pressuring him, because obviously when he's looking for the takedown, you don't want to be sending a kick, because that's what he needs. He needs to get a hold of at least one of your legs. But he does walk in. A lot of the Russian fighters, they train boxing, Russian style boxing, and you can see it on them. They kind of stand up tall. They don't really hunch over like a lot of the Mexican style boxers. They're kind of a taller body, and you see it with a lot of the MMA fighters these days out of Russia. They're standing kind of tall, and they utilize that, and then they change levels really well when they want to go in for their takedowns. But with that second that it takes them to go from standing up tall to shooting, it is something that you really have to train for. And if Arnold Allen is able to pick up on that, he can see it coming. He can avoid kicking at that time. It's just one of those timing things.
Yeah.
Timing is everything.
And one thing you'll notice about
Movsar,
23 years old. No. I think
Movsar?
I don't think he's that young. No.
I think it said 23. If not, it said 28.
Yeah, I thought late 20s. I was going to say 29 or 30, but when you look at the way that Movsar fights, as far as his grappling style is concerned, compared to what you see out of the Dagestani stable, you see a lot more of the sambo, of the straight doubles and singles out of some of the guys from Dagestan. But what's important to note here is that Movsar is actually a Greco-Roman specialist. Right. So he's going to use a lot of upper body entanglements and then try to get leg sweeps, almost more like if there is a Dagestani fighter to compare his style most similarly to, I would say it would be Islam more so than Khabib, because Islam utilizes a lot of those inner and outer leg trips and stuff like that. So look for him to try to get some body locks on Arnold Allen and get him to the ground that way.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. These guys are both tipping the scale when it comes to 145.
Yeah.
You know that weight cut's not easy on either of them.
Both bodied up. I mean,
yeah.
But the thing about Movsar is, 17-0, young guy, undefeated in the UFC, undefeated in his entire career, but no finishes in the UFC.
Yep.
He's got, if you want to get to that next echelon in a division that's so stacked like 145, you have Ilia Topuria taking on Volkanovski in the next pay-per-view. Obviously, Max Holloway, now we know what's going on with him. He's kind of out of the way for the 145ers. He's been the Achilles heel for all of the up-and-comers,
right,
much like Charles Oliveira is at 155. So the slate is kind of cleared in a way, and I think that it's important that the winner of this fight not just try to get their hand raised, but try to get a finish, because this is going to certainly set up things for who could potentially step in there with the winner of Volkan Topuria. And it might not happen in either one of their next fights, but it will certainly get them in the conversation. But for Movsar, a finish is a must here.
Yeah, a win over either one of these guys is a big thing. And, Arnold Allen's no stranger to getting finishes in the UFC, but this is one of those fights where he doesn't really have to do it emphatically like Movsar kind of has to. At this point, I'm kind of shocked that even though he's undefeated as a professional and undefeated as a UFC fighter, that he's all the way into the top 10 with no finishes. Obviously, I think he has the skills of a top 10 fighter, but a lot of people, and the rankings included, like to see finishes, and they tend to push fighters that have good finishes. So they're
nice
speaking highly of
there
him.
by Movsar. So we've got Arnold Allen in the southpaw, Movsar in the orthodox position, and so far both of them are kind of feeling each other out. Movsar is throwing some body kicks, but as you saw there, it looks like he's trying to go high with it. He's trying to land a couple to the body and then sneak one over the top there.
Well, the beautiful trick that these Russian fighters, these grappling fighters have all tricked the entire world with is their ability to take the fight to the ground so easily and almost whenever they want has really freed up their striking, almost like nothing we've ever seen before. Everybody's like, oh man, if I just avoid fighting them on the ground, I can probably win. So I just got to keep my range and all that stuff. And also that totally takes away a striker's mindset of taking down a guy from that region or taking down a guy with that skill set. And when a Russian fighter or somebody out of Team Khabib gets in the octagon, they do not have to worry about somebody taking them down. That's a major thing to go into a fight with. They don't have to worry about it. If you don't have to worry about somebody taking you to the ground and they're afraid that you're going to take them down to the ground at every single minute that passes in a fight, you've got a great advantage, and that really opens up the striking. That's why Islam Makhachev has become a knockout artist. That's why these guys are able to throw head kicks. Movsar just threw a head kick a minute ago, and he has no worries that Arnold Allen's going to take him to the ground.
It's a great point because, Khabib kind of tricked everybody, and Khabib is a far better striker than a lot of people gave him credit for. It was just that he's so good with his grappling that he didn't have to utilize a whole lot of striking except for to close the distance and get in on people. Yeah. But now you see Islam beating one of the most prolific strikers in the game in Volkanovski with head kicks and things like that. You see Umar and Usman Nurmagomedov, just incredible lights out strikers. So Magomed Ankalaev, now also a fighter out of Dagestan, winning, by knockout, just got crazy heavy hands. So the cat is definitely out of the bag that with these guys, they're not just, lay and pray sort of fighters that people don't want to watch. These guys are not only at the highest echelon of skill when it comes to grappling, but they're also at that same level or approaching that same level with their striking, which makes them very difficult to contend with. And a lot of them later on in their career, like Islam now, you see him getting a lot more finishes than he did earlier in his career. And I think their style is evolving, and it's not a stagnant thing where you know what you're going to get. And the same can be said for Movsar, throwing a big overhand there. And guys, by the way, thank you for joining the live. We got 12 in the live right now. We appreciate you guys being here. We're going to be here all the way through the main event. So we're 1:45 into round number one. If you guys want to sync up with us, 1 minute and 40 seconds now into round number one. So who you got winning this round so far, Nick?
Movsar's probably done more. He's controlled some of the striking, the short grappling exchanges that he's at least initiated. That's got to give him the slight advantage. He's got Arnold backing up a little bit. Arnold's a pretty elusive fighter, and he knew he was going to have to be on his bicycle, especially early on in this fight. But he's moving a lot and he's not really doing a lot of damage. He's more defending right now. He's not really pressing the action. Movsar, man, that's beautiful.
That was a beautiful.
You see that? Yeah. You're talking about a different level.
Movsar working a back take here, but beautiful scramble there by Allen. But it's just you see the tenacity of these guys, how they just move from one mechanic to the next.
And what people don't understand is what Arnold Allen is doing right here is everything he's doing is right. But when you wind up in the exact same position that you just tried to everything and used all of your energy to escape out of, and you're back in that position, that's so demoralizing. It also burns your gas tank right up. Like, look, there's 30 seconds left. Let's not do another Granby roll right now because you're going to lose this round. And what all you're going to do is burn your gas tank out even more. You need that gas for later in the fight. If this is how this fight's going to end, this round's going to end, just give it to him. You've already lost the round.
Yeah. And so for Allen, it's better to just compose himself, try to go ahead and start the recovery process right now. So he's got about a minute and a half to do so. It looks like Arnold Allen's pants don't fit him properly. They keep sliding down. It looks like he's got them rolled up. Which I don't understand that. I feel like with the dedication that they have to the uniform, they could get some people to help them get some properly fitted pants.
Well, his last the N on his last name is kind of like falling off as well.
Yeah, he's got them rolled up. So definitely a round for Movsar there. Now the positives for Arnold Allen, he showed some good grappling defense. The problem is that Movsar is just able to chain together the takedown attempts. So when he shoots and it's defended, he immediately switches to something. And that's where you saw those back takes and Arnold having to Granby roll, but not a, the round on the feet was relatively close. Both guys landed a couple things, nothing of real significance, but certainly what won that round for Movsar would be the takedown attempts there in the last minute.
Yeah. What a lot of people didn't talk about leading up to this fight is the fact that it's a southpaw orthodox mirrored stance that's taking place for the majority. Obviously, they're both switching stances here and there, but for the most part, it's a battle of the front leg, and that's such an important thing. You have to understand that aspect of fighting when you're fighting somebody with the opposite stance as you. But a lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of fighters, and people that know a little bit when they're having their water cooler chat or if they're watching with their friends, they want to say, "Oh man, it's a southpaw versus orthodox. Whoever's got the front leg, lead leg control has control of the game." And that's true, but a lot of people forget about the power side completely. They're like, "Oh, I better not go over there." But as long as you go with caution and you know that you have to account for the power leg and the power hand, you can venture over there and you can find all sorts of openings on a person with the opposite stance as you. You can't just avoid it because you happen to be fighting somebody with the opposite stance as you. There's a lot of great stuff over there, but you have to be cautious. So you can't just wind up on the power side of somebody. But if you set it up the right way, if you know what they're going to do, if you know when they're going to attack with their power side, you can sort of get yourself over there at the right opportunity. A lot of people don't really see it like that, especially young fighters when they're in the gym and they've not really gone with southpaws anymore, southpaws or orthodox if they're a southpaw very much. They just say, well, all I got to do is make sure my foot's on the outside. And then an experienced southpaw or an experienced open stance fighter just tears them up by going to the power side. And they're like, what is going on? I thought the whole thing was we were doing a thing
on the outside.
Yeah. We were doing the dance and now you're not doing the dance and you're kicking my ass. It doesn't make sense, but a lot of fighters, and this seems to be the case for them, they're not really looking to venture over to the power side. Movsar is willing to, and you notice when he's throwing that two or he's throwing that back leg, he's stepping in and kind of switching stances momentarily. So he winds up in a southpaw stance, but that's mostly so he can get inside for the takedowns.
So Movsar really looking for that high kick. So we're 3 minutes into round number 2 here. Looked like Brendan Allen landed a nice little high kick of his own there, and he kind of tried to follow it up with a flurry, but Movsar was able to kind of thwart most of those significant strikes away anyway. Yeah. So pretty close round so far. This round is certainly halfway through right now, up for grabs. Anybody that can kind of command the last 2 minutes here is likely going to win the round. Mm-hmm. But see, Movsar, he's a very smart fighter too. He's he waits until just over halfway through the round to really shoot that takedown, lets his opponent get a little bit tired, starts to open up a little bit with the striking, and then he looks for his opportunity. But these back takes have been beautiful. Nice elbows
Beautiful
there by
trip.
Arnold, but nice trip by Evloev.
Yeah, you can't focus on doing offensive tactics when somebody has your back.
Yeah, with a guy like Movsar on your back, you just got to break that grip and get out. You're not going to do any damage with those elbows. They're just going to be annoying more than anything. And it's kind of tit for tat because Movsar is landing some punches, as well. So it's like neither are doing much damage, but he's got the back control, so he's winning those exchanges. Yeah. But
it was like, this is like what I talked about when we did the predictions for this. You can either go out there for a finish, and finishing Arnold Allen's really, really impressive. But getting a win over him is almost as
also
impressive.
Very impressive.
And it also, you're number 9. You just beat number 4. Now you're top 5. And you still haven't finished anybody. But at the same time, Arnold Allen ain't the guy to go out there and risk it all for. I mean,
well, if you bite down on your mouthpiece and try to bang with Arnold Allen, as a top-notch Greco-Roman wrestler, that would be probably not a very wise game plan, because Arnold Allen has finished some strikers that are far better strikers than Movsar, and Movsar can win this fight doing what he's doing. In fact, he will win this fight if it continues to go the way it's going.
Yeah,
just kind of
look
going
pretty next time. Look at that.
Nice jumping knee by Movsar there.
Like I said, the threat of the takedown and the actual takedown attempts open up so much opportunity for these grapplers to strike and throw crazy stuff. He has no worries. He can jump right up in there and throw a flying knee at Arnold Allen because he knows he's not worried about getting slammed on his back or getting wrestled down. That's just not something he has to worry about, which is a real sign of relief.
Arnold looking for a big uppercut there. Yeah. Guys, we got 18 of you guys in the chat right now. I see some comments coming in the chat. Thanks, we'll get Sean. To a mid-round. Thank you guys for joining us. Ooh, that was a big shot there by Movsar.
He cracked
Allen
him.
might be a little hurt here.
Oh, he's definitely hurt. He's wobbled.
Yeah, this is going to be a statement win if Movsar can get this finish.
So here we go. Now we got 30 seconds left. Do you go for the finish, or do you just...
I think you step on the gas a little bit. You're winning the fight, and you've got your opponent hurt. As you said, you're not really concerned about the takedown. Yeah. You can't get caught. You can't throw caution to the wind, but I think stepping on the gas a little bit might be a good idea.
Right now, what Movsar has to watch out for is 1 or 2 big shots. If Arnold Allen can't land one major shot, I think you could bet the house that he's going to get this fight over with in the 3rd round.
You think so, huh?
Arnold's not going to recover in 1 minute. He doesn't have the time.
All right, so let's get back to the poll. 17 votes now, obviously heavily skewed towards Movsar now. It's over 70%. We got Joey Cruz. What's going on, Joey? What's up, guys? Decided not to buy this pay-per-view. Good fights, though. Got to save my money for $98, $99, and $300. I hear you, brother.
Hey, $299 is wild.
It's expensive to be a UFC fan, man. It really is.
But $299 will be worth it.
But we got Yas S in the chat. Typical Russian fighter, Evloev. Yeah, I mean, he does have that Khabib movement, although he's not a Sambo style fighter, but he's got a tremendous Greco-Roman background.
Yeah, he fights very similar to Khabib. Yeah,
Danger still hanging in there. Perfect match on time. Yep. So cool. We're glad you guys are here. Thank you for joining the live. 21 people in the live now.
Let's go, y'all.
Nick is calling for a 3rd round finish from Movsar Evloev. I think Arnold Allen, almost said Brendan Allen.
Yeah.
Arnold Allen is going to hang in there. He's a tough guy. He's a veteran. I think he's going to make it through, but certainly looks like this is Movsar's fight to lose at this point.
And he looks fresh as a daisy right now. He looks like he's ready for 5 rounds. So, Movsar, get used to saying his name. I need to go ahead and figure it out. I need to have that little Siri translation thing.
Yeah, that last name is a tough one for
Evloev.
Evloev, I think it is.
There's no way of knowing how many V's are in there, but there's a few. And they're all placed in there kind of funny. See, right now you've got a dangerous Arnold Allen because he's going
to go for broke here.
He's got about 8 to 12 really good power shots in him for this round. And then after that, and he's going to space them out. He's not going to throw them all right now. But he's got one about every 30 seconds that he's going to be able to put on him.
And there was one right there.
Yeah. And he landed a decent one early. But
nice inside leg kick there by Movsar.
Oh, he landed twice.
Yep, nice combination there by Allen. Yeah, he's going to go for broke because he's
fighting down. He has to. If he wants to win the fight, he has to go for a knockout because he's soundly lost the first 2 rounds.
Let's see if Movsar elects to try to stand and get this finish, or if he doesn't want to take too much of these onslaught bursts by Allen and just elects to go to the ground.
Yeah, well, I would play it smart if I were him. If I were him, I've won 2 rounds. I would stay on the outside, stay safe, let Arnold kind of blow his wad a little bit here in the beginning part of this round. Find a takedown about 3.5 minutes into this, and then just coast. It sounds bad, but you're talking about entering the top 5. This is a different thing. You have to understand, like, fighting is not just about putting on an amazing show for the fans. It's about a career. This guy has championship aspirations. If he wants to get to the belt, he's got to look pretty next time. And I think there's some matchups at the top of 145 that he could actually style on.
Nice,
he could look really good at against, and he could probably find some finishes against top 5 guys. But like I said, Arnold Allen's tough.
Yeah, Arnold going for a little guillotine of his own there.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice knees by Allen.
He's down.
Yeah, he's down.
He's down. You can't do that. Look, his head is bleeding.
Oh, that was multiple shots too. Yeah. Movsar did get that hand down, so those were illegal shots.
Yep.
Wow. So that'll be
illegal.
Will be a DQ if Movsar is unable to continue.
How would it be disqualification victory?
Yeah, disqualification victory for Movsar.
It has to be.
So let's see here. They're doing the replay. So the first one was good. It actually does look like he's pulling his opponent up, pulling Movsar up and throwing the knee. You see that kind of sneaky technique a lot. Now you see he'll jerk the head up here, boom, and then throw the knee. It's just a matter of timing. Was the hand
that one was on?
The first one looked like the hand was off the ground. The second one it was on. The third one was definitely on. So yeah, definitely illegal strikes for Allen.
And the fourth one.
Yeah.
Damn, that's 4 illegal strikes to the head. Look at that.
Wow, man, look at that ear. The good news is the blood is on the side of the face. It's not impairing his vision. And there's only 3 minutes left in the fight. So I see the doctor allowing. It is Canada. You don't know what they're going to do. It's a little bit more predictable, these things in Vegas or somewhere like that.
There you go. All right, Canada.
All right, Canada, I hear you.
Yes, we don't have another New
Mario Yamasaki's the doctor. He's going to let him go out on his shield.
Yeah, let's go. There's no shield clause.
Goddard's like, dude, that was like multiple illegal strikes in a row. So let's not do that again.
You want me to take a point and just ruin this whole?
We're going to go ahead. I'll make this a 30-26 real quick, buddy. All right, let's see here. 3 minutes left in the fight.
That was well worth it for Allen to do that, because he didn't get a point taken away, and now he just got to breathe. And now he's probably fresh in the brain and fresh in the body for the remaining 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, if it ever is a good strategy to throw multiple illegal strikes, Arnold Allen just pulled it off.
Yeah.
Nice body uppercut there by Allen.
I mean, everybody's entitled to 1 or 2, illegal shots in a fight. I mean, you're not going to get I almost had a ticket. You're not going to get.
You're going to start handing out red cards here.
But you know what I was thinking? We were talking about the weight cut issue. And I've always said, if you miss weight, your next fight has to be at the weight class above. Yeah. And now I'm going back on that. I don't think it. I think what has to happen is, if you miss weight, you have to sit out for 1 year. Yeah. You're not allowed to fight for 1 year. And then your next fight must be at the same weight that you missed. Yeah,
that you contracted. Yeah.
So you don't get to go have a year.
Nick dropping the harsh penalties.
Yeah, that one would suck, because now you can't just screw off for a year. You have to stay dieting for a whole year. I could go even harder and say, like, you have to check in. Like,
you have to make championship weight. You have to make 145. If you don't even get the grace pound.
Or once a month, you have to call in and like Zoom call the UFC PI and show them
with a scale.
Yeah.
So we got just under 2 minutes left in the round here. Movsar certainly taking this fight.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that Allen's had some moments in round number 3, but
yeah,
all in all, it's been pretty even. I think this is going to be a 30-27, if not a 29-28, probably split cards or something like that. But Allen did have a couple of nice sprawls there and stopped Movsar.
He's got the neck.
Oh, wow. See, that's just a wrestler right there. Will literally roll on their neck just to get out of a position. They're unbelievable tenacity. And
look at it. Now he's going to go for it.
Yep.
I love when a wrestler or a grappler gets really angry after you try to do some shit like that to him.
And just jumps right on it.
And then does it to you. And you're like, oh, I didn't know you had that kind of squeeze in you. But that right there was very impressive. I've had people, high-level collegiate wrestlers, spin out of stuff like that on me. And it'll drive you crazy, because you're like, I finally got him.
Yeah, well, it's like that they'll literally sacrifice their neck to roll out of something. It's Wrestlers are different, man.
Mhm.
And I still maintain that it's the best base for MMA, truly.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly looks like Movsar is just gonna hang tight here.
Danger
throw a few
saying
knees.
65% of all fighters that miss weight do well, so they win. So I think you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. There's something.
What
to
do you
it.
think about my thoughts? You know, make them wait out for an entire year and then have to make the weight again at that same weight. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, it would probably be nice if they could just do something that would eliminate weight cutting altogether, because it's only a matter of time before somebody really does have a serious injury from all this.
Yeah.
And the problem is, if you just choose to not cut weight, you're going to be in there with a much bigger person. It has to be across the board, or you're going to be just fighting people that are way bigger than you.
All right, so 29-28. I think they're going to give that last round to Arnold. I think he did enough.
We got 20 in the chat now.
What up, y'all?
Yeah, Danger likes he likes your idea there. Not a bad penalty at all.
Let's go.
Harsh but fair. That's how Nick
right.
is. He
I'm
rules
fair, but
with
I'm
an
firm.
iron fist.
That's right.
Who said I'm fair but I'm firm? Which
I think it's a Rocky movie. I think it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I think it was whoever's doing him.
Was it
Mr. T or something?
Was Kenny Bayless in any of the Rocky movies? I feel like they used some real referees.
They probably
in some
did.
of the movies.
I don't know.
But,
what was his name? Jimmy Lennon Jr. Is that?
He's an announcer. Yeah, but there was a guy from our hometown, actually, Savannah, that was Millsby Lane. He used to own a house downtown, like on Forsyth Park. Yeah, he was a real famous boxing judge or referee. Sorry. But talking about illegal strikes and timing them well, wasn't it Derek Lewis that said that he was exhausted in a fight, so he kicked somebody in the nuts just to get an extra, couple of minutes to compose himself?
That's how we do it in Houston.
Welcome to Houston, ladies and gentlemen. If we get tired, we're going to kick you in the groin.
There you go. Yeah. That's the Main Street special.
Yeah. That was a nice knee there by Movsar. So, what surprised me a little bit here, because obviously I think we all knew what was going to happen as far as the grappling is concerned, but Arnold Allen is wearing it more on his face than Movsar is. And I would argue that Movsar won the vast majority of the striking exchanges, which to me is somewhat surprising. I thought that Movsar was going to have his best chance getting this to the ground early and often, but he certainly proved that he can hang. Still looking for that first finish, but I think this is a pretty resounding victory. I would say this puts him in the top 5, even without it being a finish. He showed that he's top 5 material for sure.
He's bodied up.
So 29-28. So the judges did all score the final round for Arnold Allen, it seems.
Yep. Movsar, I knew it. 29-28 across the board.
That's the right
call. He looked
call.
good.
I thought it was 30-27, but
he fought in May, and it was a close fight against Diego Lopez. He didn't really get to prepare for that, but he's made a lot of improvements in his striking in that short amount of time. And he's with the one guy that knows the Dagestani wrestling more than anybody that's not from Dagestan, DC, the man himself.
Yep. So let's hear what Evloev getting interviewed by DC now.
Yaz calls it a draw.
You had that one a draw, Yaz? What that would mean there would have had to be a 10-8 round.
No.
Yeah, Danger said can't score any more damage for Allen in that round. Yeah, I think Joey Cruz says Sterling versus Evloev would be interesting if he beats Cater. Aljamain at 145, I'm not sold on that experiment.
He just beat Chase Hooper in grappling.
Yeah. I mean, he's certainly a high-level jiu-jitsu player, and his wrestling is very good. The Calvin Cater fight, I think, is going to say a lot, because I think he's going to have a massive grappling advantage on Calvin Cater.
Wait, the judges are terrible? Y'all, do y'all think Allen won that fight?
Yeah, drop a comment and let us know if you thought Arnold Allen won the fight.
There's no way.
JL, welcome to the live, by the way, my friend.
Sorry, I hear myself.
Sorry, you're echoing in the phone here. 17 people in the live. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be here all the way through the main event. If you're new here, we're your home for all things combat sports. We're the Barnhill Brothers. Yeah. We're brothers. We're on camera. We got our other brother, Chris, behind the scenes here, making all of the magic happen, the most important of all of us. So
he does all the hard work.
Yeah.
We just sit here and try to make stuff up.
If you like what you're hearing, feel free to drop a subscribe on the channel and a like on the video.
Yeah. Yeah, Movsar's off to the races now.
Yeah, Movsar looking good. It's gonna be interesting.
Oh, there's Kyle from Nelk. Yeah.
He's in his hometown too. He's got the happy dad.
Oh, shoot.
Dude, those guys don't miss a branding opportunity.
Don't know
Bo
that guy.
Bichette. Yeah, never heard of him. Alexandre
Don't know who that
Pantoja. Yeah, right.
Never heard
You know
of him.
Pantoja beat Makhachev, right?
Right, yeah.
According to
Knocked him
Brendan
out.
Schaub, yeah.
Knocked him out.
Knocked him out, bro. But you know, actually, fun fact.
They're live right now, just down the road from
on
us.
Rogan, just down the street in Austin. Yep.
Yeah.
But fun fact, Islam's only loss was by knockout. That was actually here at the Toyota Center in Houston.
Yeah, and it was a guy, I think it was a Brazilian guy.
I believe it was. I can't remember the guy's
his name kind of looks like Pantoja, maybe, but
yeah, I don't know what Brendan Schaub was thinking there, but that was Pantoja for sure not knock out Islam Makhachev. It's safe.
Not in this lifetime.
You need a little help there, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Topo Chico.
Nick versus the bottle opener.
Oh,
here.
there we go.
There we go.
I was going
for my old bartending days.
There you go. Come on, I should know better.
We got 27 in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining. Yes, let's
hit
get
us
to
with
the
some
chat
questions.
here.
We got a little not commercial break, but a little B-roll of the skyline of Toronto.
Joey Cruz says Evloev runs through Kattar. Yeah, I think probably so. The stylistic matchup there would not be good for Calvin Kattar. And Danger says, get these guys from the chat and the Barnhill Bros Discord. That's a great reminder there, Danger. And thank you, Danger, by the way, for helping us set up that Discord. I'm brand new to the platform, but we're having some fun in there. So if you guys want, maybe we could put a link in the video description here so you can click it and join our chat on Discord. We chat all things MMA, combat sports. We got a couple different channels, and it's we got a few folks that are really starting to chat. It's getting busier and busier in there. So join us.
Good fun.
We just cracked 30 in the live now. So that last poll, obviously, it skewed heavy for. It was kind of even until the first couple rounds were over, and then Movsar really took it off as far as who wins the fight. 70% Evloev, 39% Arnold Allen, 6 people.
There's
voting.
that dude right there, y'all. They're showing Year of the Fighter, and they're highlighting Frankie Edgar. All right, Hall of Famer, a legend, everybody's favorite fighter. He was the guy that remember people would say Justin Gaethje's your favorite fighter.
Yeah.
Before Justin Gaethje got to the UFC, it was Frankie Edgar.
No doubt.
Frankie Edgar's your favorite fighter. And that brings me to something I want to talk about, and we can talk about it now. Guys, if you guys show any interest in it, we'll do a video on it, like one of our traditional style videos that we post. What is the criteria for Hall of Fame? Like, as a fan, what do you want to see out of your people that get inducted into the Hall of Fame? Because the fighter and the kid, Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub, just had a great episode last week. It was very entertaining, and half of it was spent talking about who gets in and who doesn't. And Brian saying, it needs to be rare air that gets breathed in the Hall of Fame. But, he would say things like Kimbo Slice doesn't belong. He would say things like, they'd say, well, what about Vitor Belfort? And he was like, I have to see his record. And Brendan's like, no, these guys are in. Like, half of them are already in the UFC Hall of Fame. So it was very fun to me. If you guys find that interesting, let us know who you think. Like, I'll drop some names. Like Frankie Edgar, obviously Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's kind of the argument Brian Callen made. He's like, when I say somebody's name, we all have to be like, of course.
Right.
George St. Pierre.
Of course. Yeah.
Of course. John Jones.
Of course.
Of course.
Anderson Silva.
Of
so
course.
He's talking about like a half dozen people being in.
Right. So Yoel Romero.
No.
Yeah. Anthony Johnson.
No.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think it was DC said that Jim Miller. Yeah, DC definitely. Somebody said DC, or I think it was DC said that Jim Miller doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, and I have to disagree with that.
That's what the whole conversation started with.
Longevity in the sport does matter to some degree. If you're able to compete in UFC 100, 200, and 300, because how many people do we know personally that get into the UFC, they fight for a couple of years, and then they're out? Yeah. And they had even keel records, 500 records, winning records, and they're cut by the UFC. Mm-hmm. And to be able to stay in it that long, stay competitive for that long. Mm-hmm. And it almost seems like you got to be like 60-40 minimum as far as win to loss ratio over decades of time. Andrei Arlovsky, Jim Miller. Obviously, Andre was the champion at some point. Jim will not be a champion, but I personally think people like that belong in the Hall of Fame.
100%.
That's just my opinion.
Cerrone belongs in the Hall.
No
Their
doubt.
names are all over the history books. You got to put them in. Just because they didn't win a title. Okay, Uriah Faber. He didn't win a title.
Yeah,
he's got to be.
Yeah.
He brought so many new people to the UFC. Frankie Edgar has to be. Jose Aldo has to be.
Sorry, guys, a little technical difficulty here. Give us just a couple seconds.
Uh-oh. It looks like we're almost back. Uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. 1, 2. If you can still hear me, we are just cooling down the camera. We'll be back on, and now we're back on. So hopefully, according to my phone, we're still on. Chris is saying we're off right now, but I see myself. Frankie Edgar is still getting his Hall of Fame inductee. He's the first 2024 UFC Hall of Fame inductee. He's in the modern era wing, so that's a pretty big deal for him. There's Luke Rockhold there dapping him up, and all sorts of other fighters. Bilal Muhammad, you name them, they're there. That's pretty cool. Probably an emotional night for him. I'm sure that's awesome. Oh, Amanda Nunes certainly belongs. Man, sorry, y'all. Stick with us, please. Technical difficulties. You know how it goes. If y'all have any feedback, what camera brand? We're using a Sony. I believe we're back on now. All right, we're on. Let me know if you enter in the chat if we're on. If y'all can say something, it would be nice. All right, we're back in. What kind of camera is that? It's a Sony something. Sony A6400, Johnny. Yeah, Johnny. Sony A6400. Is that a good one for this?
Apparently not.
Apparently not, yeah.
Luckily, that usually always happens around the 40 mark and then doesn't happen again.
Yeah, so fingers crossed, guys. Send us some good vibes our way, and hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Yep. Sorry about that, guys. So what happens is, because it's cold here in Houston, the heat in the house cuts on, and then that cuts the or that I guess heats the camera to a temperature that it's not comfortable keeping.
Yeah. Technical stuff.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
We don't want to bore you with all that.
We are still figuring it out. But
so Hall of Fame stuff. He was the first inductee of the year.
Who's that?
Frankie Edgar.
Oh yeah, no, Frankie has to be in
he
the
was
Hall
the champ
of Fame
too.
So in the chat,
so
Danger says Miller has ridiculous achievements in the UFC. DC's out of his mind. I
agree.
I tend to agree with a lot of stuff DC says, but he's way off base about that. Danger says, how's your training coming along?
Man, training's great. Life is good. Staying busy. We got some big fights coming out of our gym right now. 2023 was crazy. 2024 should be really awesome.
Hey, I got to ask you a question, by the way, because I have not asked you yet. I saw a picture of wrestling class at Main Street the other day, and it looked to me like Regis Prograis was in the back of that picture. Are my eyes playing tricks on me, or is a former boxing world champion humbling himself by coming to wrestling class at Main Street?
Yeah, 2-time boxing world champion Regis Prograis. 2024 is the year that he will become a 3-time boxing world champion. You know, that's the cool thing about Main Street. We have the highest level boxers you can find on the planet. We got the highest level MMA fighters you can find, and we all work together. But Regis Prograis has always loved MMA. He's always loved the idea of training MMA. And obviously he has to spend 90% of his time training doing boxing. But he loves grappling. He loves wrestling, loves jiu-jitsu. His wife is Brazilian. He's gone down there and spent, extended stays down there. So he loves grappling. And yes, your eyes weren't playing a trick on you. That was him in wrestling class. He wakes up in the morning. Yeah. The only time he doesn't wear boots, if he's going on a 4-mile run with the boxing team, he's in his boots, and they're usually not tied. If he's going to box, shadow box and stuff, he's in his boots. If he's going to spar, sometimes he's barefoot. Other times he's in his boots. But
in those toe shoes. What do you call those? Vibrams or whatever?
Sometimes he's in those, but a lot of times he spars barefoot. He doesn't wear the stomach gear.
Yeah.
The big extended cup. And it's really interesting because now he's putting on his wrestling shoes and he's been wrestling with us. So you never know what you're going to see if you come to Houston, Texas. Main Street, you'll see some crazy stuff.
Well, and Main Street really is unique in that way because very few you have your great boxing gyms, right? You have Freddie Roach's gym. You have
Mayweather's gym,
exactly. You've got the Money Team. You've got some great gyms out of the UK. Obviously,
Bear,
some Russian camps. Big Bear. A lot of people do their camps there. And then you have the MMA gyms. You have your AKA, your American Top Team, your Jackson Wink. But very few gyms will you go and find people who have fought for MMA world titles, people who have held boxing world titles under the same roof training together. It is a very unique thing.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about it. And a guy like Regis, who, made millions of dollars boxing Devin Haney, obviously came up short, can go and do that fight, have that kind of payday, and then show up to wrestling class a month later at 9 o'clock in the morning and get humbled by 17-year-old high school kids.
Or maybe he was humbling them.
Maybe I wasn't there.
I won't talk about talk about the X's and O's of practice, but he's an athlete.
He's a gamer for sure.
He's all the way through. He knows how to fight, and it's a very interesting place. Also, Austin Trout, one of my great friends. He's out over there. He's fighting in 2 weeks. Bare knuckle, BKFC. If you guys are into bare knuckle, our good friend Austin Trout will be fighting for the title. I believe it's 155. If not, it's 170. I don't really know exactly all the weight classes that they do, but he's fighting for the belt. He absolutely destroyed Diego Sanchez, as you could probably expect. He fought Canelo Alvarez in what Canelo says is one of his top 5 most difficult fights he's ever had. Dude is a high class, high-level boxer, and he's fighting bare knuckle now. He's got his a couple fights under his belt there, and now he's fighting for the belt. So you don't want to miss that. He might even make an appearance in the studio here at the Barnhill Brothers studio before the fight.
We got the sofa and everything.
That's right.
For more people, we got extra microphones, so we're definitely looking to add some more interview-style stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll start with the fighters we know, the Houston fighters, and go from there.
Hurricane Ike was in there this morning. He holds. He's won like 3 bare knuckle fights in a row. Ever since he left the UFC, he went bare knuckle, but not BKFC.
If there were ever a fighter besides Mike Perry that was built for bare knuckle fighting, it's Mike Villanueva from Houston, Texas. Hurricane Ike. Yep. Yeah.
No, he was in there this morning training with us, and he's just good to have in the gym.
He's a good guy.
Fun. He'll talk a little trash to you. He'll help. He'll coach. He'll make fun of you. He'll tell you what you're doing right, tell you what you're doing wrong, and then show you a thing or two as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I remember when he was still fighting in the UFC, he would show. I think he was working at like a gear shop or something like that. He would show up in his like mechanic outfit, take that off, put his UFC shorts on, and get to work. So that's the behind the scenes stuff that not a lot of people realize. These people that are fighting on the main cards of pay-per-views and all. Even Jeff Neal, because he's a main card pay-per-view guy. He's waiting tables at Texas Roadhouse. MMA it's very much still for the love of the sport. I mean, obviously there's people at the top that make substantial money, but for the most part, it's for love of the sport. We got Jules in the chat. Jules, welcome. It's good to have you in the live chat with us.
Cheers.
You forgot that the fights were on. I thought, how could you possibly forget? It's
first
a pay-per-view Saturday night. Danger says BKFC is pretty brutal. Yeah, it definitely
you should watch because my boy Austin Trout, his name is No Doubt Trout. Very good boxer, and he's real clean with it. Like, he didn't really get touched at all by Diego. And I think this next fight, he's fighting a guy who's more game and more talented as far as striking and boxing goes. But he's just got a really unique style. He's really good at staying behind his jab, but he's also willing to shell up for a second while you try to engage and then find some really nice shots. And the fact that there's no gloves means he can sneak his hands in really finite small areas that, boxing gloves wouldn't allow you to hit. And that's where he's really found his bread and butter. He's been doing countless rounds with MMA fighters. He's been doing countless rounds in the 4-ounce gloves. He's been doing all sorts of tying up because in BKFC, they let you tie up.
The clinch is a big thing in BKFC.
Right. Yeah. So we've got high-level champion Muay Thai fighters at our gym as well. They don't get near as much shine as the MMA fighters or the boxers that are out of our gym. But we've got a girl named Becca right now, and she's like, aside from, I'm pretty sure I might be speaking out of pocket, but I don't think I am. Aside from Valentina Shevchenko, she's the most accomplished Muay Thai fighter that's not from Thailand, of all time.
That's pretty elite company when you're up there with the bullet.
And she'll piece up some fighters too. I watch her all the time.
I've seen Bob post some clips on Instagram of her hitting pads. She looks real sharp. I haven't met her in person yet.
Good.
But I just been living that dad life for a little while.
Yeah.
But I'm getting back in the gym. This 2024 resolution. I'm getting back in there and sparring some people.
Let's go. Let's go. This guy was cool when I was out in Vegas for the last UFC event. He was always on the same schedule with us as far as the buses to the PI and the sauna sessions and everything.
Marc-Andre.
Nice dude. Yeah.
So we got 21 in the chat. Thank you guys all for hanging out. It looks like everybody's real heavy on Chris Curtis. About 70% of you across 16 votes are picking Chris to win this fight. Joey Cruz, you guys rooting for anybody in this fight? He's going for Marc-Andre.
I'm going for Marc-Andre.
Yeah, I like both of these guys. I like Chris. I've gotten to know a little bit more about him just because of his proximity to the champion, Sean Strickland, and all the rounds that they do together. He seems like a great guy. So, honestly, this one I'll feel good either way because I like both of these fighters. I don't know. Curtis is 36 years old. It seems like he had a little bit of a rough patch. It looks like he's starting to put some things together. I'll go Curtis. I think I'm going to cheer for Curtis, although I certainly wouldn't be mad at Marc-Andre getting his hand raised in front of the Canadian crowd.
Yeah. And also Danger. Yeah. Let me know what you think about his performance. It's Austin, no doubt, Trout. You're not going to want to miss it. And if you want to look up some of his stuff later on or watch
that Canelo fight with No Doubt. He's really, really sharp.
His fight with Canelo was real impressive.
And the nicest guy. He holds pads for, people with Parkinson's and stuff like that, like elderly people. And,
one of the good ones.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the good ones. All right, so we got Curtis coming out in southpaw, Marc-Andre in the orthodox.
It's always very interesting when you watch two guys go in there, and we're going to get back into the X's and O's now, guys, but it's always interesting when you watch people and they really don't have the agenda of controlling the octagon on their mind, and it's almost weird. Curtis sort of started out like he was going to concede the center, and then Marc-Andre sort of followed him to the side, and they wound up sort of just parallel to one of the panels of the wall.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
It looks different. It looks like Curtis has kind of commanded the center now, but Marc-Andre.
Look, he's not really commanding it. He'll move there
and he's backing up. Yes, yeah. So it's interesting because both guys seem like they're trying to command position at some points, but then they're kind of backing off.
Marc-Andre's got an interesting style with that pivot. He's pivoting and shifting his weight to his front side, but it's putting him in an interesting spot. This is another open stance fight, y'all. So we got a southpaw versus orthodox, or at least that's what they're advertising for us right now. Again, the battle of the
nice
lead
leg
foot
kicks there by Chris Curtis.
Yeah, the battle of the lead foot is what to watch, but a lot of people get so caught up in that, and it becomes a boring, like, jab heavy game where you can't really get your jab across, so nothing clean lands, and everybody just holds their big power punch in the back and really doesn't let it off that much because they're worried that they might cross the center line or they might, get met with something hard. Man, you got to be calculated, of course, but you can explore on that power side, and there's oftentimes a lot of great stuff.
Nice straight right there by Marc-Andre.
Yeah.
Curtis is having some success with that front outside leg kick. He's timing that well. He's throwing a couple of shots up top and then hitting that well, but it doesn't seem like it's really doing much damage because it's not thrown with a lot of velocity. He looks like he's been sparring a lot with Sean Strickland, the way he's lighting that front leg and he's holding that. I won't say Philly shell, but he's creeping towards the Philly shell.
Yeah. No, he's in
it now. As soon as I say that, he's fully into it.
Yeah.
So we're about halfway through the round. It's pretty much anybody's fight so far. I think the best round so far, has been that straight right from Marc-Andre. That one was a nice shot. But Curtis is certainly looking like a guy who spars with the champion Sean Strickland quite a bit.
Yeah. One thing you got to remember though, when you're a guy like that, and look, you want to be around greatness all the time, but Sean Strickland fights at a pace and with a style that is built for 5 rounds. And I know he's only been the champ for a short amount of time, but that's still his thing, man. Pressure, but not too much pressure. He knows how to just keep the pressure on you, but it really does lend to a five round style, because if you do this for 3 rounds and you aren't active enough and you let a guy like Marc-Andre Barriault or whatever his last name is get off for the first two rounds, then you're fighting from behind. And we saw what Arnold Allen had to do with that.
I keep wanting to call him Brendan Allen too.
Yeah, Brendan Allen's, because he's been
he's looking really good lately.
Yeah,
Strickland's got a finish over him actually.
That's impressive.
So still kind of anybody's round. I mean, all things considered, I'll say Chris Curtis has commanded the cage just a little bit better. But there again, Marc-Andre keeps coming forward as well. So it's the fight for cage control has still not been won yet, almost 4 minutes into this round.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like a major focus.
That was interesting there by Curtis.
Yeah, showmanship is something that's very important. I understand it, but
not yet.
We need action.
Yeah,
we need action first.
Do something and then showboat.
Yeah.
But yeah, both guys seem like they're a little bit cautious to engage. They're kind of feeling each other out, walking around, throwing a couple of feeler jabs out.
Oftentimes when this is how a round goes, they give it to the person that is doing more. And if that could mean they're doing more in the sense of they're hopping around more.
Right.
And honestly, Marc-Andre, even though he might not have landed more or he might not have landed more powerful, he has seemed to be doing more in this round. And that's why I would be leaning towards him right now. Now,
Curtis, a couple of nice shots there by Curtis, but really with 20 seconds left, it's anybody's round.
Yeah.
34 in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to be here all night.
The best.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Much.
Man, the channel has really been steadily increasing as far as viewership goes, and we're really appreciative of all of you guys.
Yeah, it means a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to see this growth. We've been building on all platforms. YouTube is kind of the most important. I hate to categorize them, but YouTube's
the one. Yeah, YouTube's top of the pyramid.
You guys are our favorites. So
yeah,
if you're over
no
there on
offense to the Instagram and TikTok people, but YouTube's where it's at.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we got 31 in the chat. Drop us a comment and let us know who you thought won that first round. I'm going to say that Marc-Andre won it just because he landed the bigger shot and he seemed to be doing a little bit more. But that's a very tough round to score.
Yeah. Who's in the back right now with Sean? Because there's Nixick right there.
Yeah, the good thing is he's got 2 fights in between. Yeah.
And one of them.
Well, Trevor Whitman used to be. I mean, man, when he had multiple champions and Justin Gaethje on the same card, Whitman was like, I think at one time he had 3 fighters on a pay-per-view card. It was like one of them was the curtain jerker, and then Rose was the main. I think it was Justin may have been the curtain jerker, or even the feature bout. Rose was the co-main, and Kamaru was the main. So it's like. Yeah, I don't think anybody's toppled that since
hell of
Trevor.
A payday for him.
Yeah, and it's funny because Trevor. I mean, I still love Trevor as a coach, but that can Justin's kind of the guy now with the belt, even though it's the BMF belt.
The last man standing, yeah. And now that's a fight. Him and Max Holloway.
Yeah,
and I've always thought skill wise, Max Holloway belongs at 55, but I worry about his strength.
Yeah, I just always go back to that Dustin Poirier fight when Dustin fought Max, and he came up that one time.
It looked like little brother came up and got more than he bit off.
Yeah, I'm not as a diehard Max fan. I'm cautiously optimistic about that fight.
But I love what they're doing because they've gone all across the board as far as the BMF belt goes, and look at where it's wound up. I always said let it move around. Yeah. And try to match it up between 2 different weight classes. Because if it starts at 170, it can't stay in 170 because there's some BMFs all over the place. And, I think that,
Chris, we lost the,
oh, shoot, guys.
Live. Chris, open a window. It'll get cool in here, but that'll do the trick.
Thanks, Jules. Yeah. Don't tell our Instagram.
Jules, you're the best too.
Don't tell our Instagram and TikTok people, but.
Okay, looks like we're back on.
All right, we're good.
Guys, we're gonna risk it all for you guys. We're opening a window in the frigid Houston winter, so not that it's that cold here. Just until we can get this camera situation sorted out. Yes, thank you, Joey. We're back. Yep.
And to whoever asked that question about what kind of camera it was, it's a Sony. And if you have any recommendations, please send them our way.
This is supposed to be the one. This has got like as long as it's got battery life, it'll go. Most of the camera we had before that we got rid of, we got rid of it because once you go 30 minutes, it kills the camera automatically, and there's no way to override that setting. So, and I think that was just the Sony A6300, and then we switched to the 64. So, if there's a better one out there or a camcorder or something, we'll get it right eventually, and we'll get multiple of these things in here at some point, so you don't have to look at the side of me and Nick's ugly profiles. You can look at us head on. We'll get multiple cameras.
Speak for yourself. No. Yeah, it'll be cool. the evolution of the channel is going to be something that's fun to watch, and hopefully you guys that have been here from the beginning will appreciate what we're able to do and bring to you guys, because obviously we enjoy what we're doing, but we always want to grow and evolve and change things. We've got some cool things in the works, cool things that we've been, cultivating mentally for years, and we really want to bring them to life. And it's because of y'all's help that we're going to be able to do that. And some of it's going to start this year. So
yeah, 2024, our goal internally by the end of 2024 is to grow this to where we can do this full time.
Yeah.
We can quit our day jobs, so to speak.
Yeah.
So this round has picked up the pace quite a bit. They're fighting more in a closer boxing range, and I think that's going to favor Chris Curtis, especially seeing as he's such an avid sparring partner with Sean Strickland. He's going to be very comfortable in that close boxing range.
And let's all be real. The most fun sparring you can possibly do is what they do over there.
Yeah,
Just
no doubt. Yeah,
and box with people in MMA gloves. That's the most fun. I love when we're sparring at Main Street, and then Coach Bob will be like, "All right, striking only." I'm like, "All right,
there
you
we
got
go."
it."
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting because Sean Strickland is an avid believer that the only way to get good at fighting is by fighting.
Yeah.
And, he gets in there and he spars with Francis Ngannou. He spars with the biggest and baddest guys that Extreme Couture has to offer.
Yep.
And there's something to be said for it, because that Adesanya fight was brilliant. And you don't get that kind of sensitivity and that kind of timing unless you're sparring a hell of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But there again, how long does fighting like that allow you to compete as far as like chin longevity? Because if you're in there sparring Francis and Chris Curtis and Edmund Shabazian and just slugging every single day, I was watching one of the embedded episodes. They both landed a nice little hook there. I was watching one of the embedded episodes, and Eric Nixick was, watching a sparring session with Edmund Shabazian and Sean Strickland about 3 days before this fight that looked like it was a full midway through training camp, like knockdown, drag out sparring session. And he was like, you know what? At this point, I'll let my fighters do what makes them feel comfortable. This is what Sean likes to do. And it's cool. But, I worry sometimes that, and I say that because he's fighting a heavy power puncher tonight, that, at some point the chin goes, and when it goes, it does not come back. Yeah. That was a nice elbow attempt up the middle there by Chris Curtis. So
Danger said that he noticed Chris is doing a few blocks that look just like Sean's, and that's true.
100%. Yeah, I noticed that, and then noticed the how light he is in his front leg, how he lifts that front leg up almost like it's like a check, but not really.
What I love that Sean was doing, and hopefully he does it some more tonight, which really killed Izzy's low kick ability, was he would do 2 checks like that to walk in, and he would be in his fight stance, and then he would check and check. So he'd walk back into his fight stance, but to get there, he did 2 checks.
Yeah.
And then he was in boxing range with Izzy, because Izzy was backwards against the wall. That was really genius, because he was like, just, preventative. He was just being preventative with his checks. He's like, he might throw something, so I'll just check, and then I'll just check, and now we're inside.
One of the things that irritates me the most about Izzy versus Strickland is how people rewrote history so quickly to say that Izzy had an off night, and that was, wasn't that Sean Strickland's so good. It was just that Izzy wasn't focused or didn't train right or had an off night. Izzy did what Izzy does. He feints, he moves around, he circles on the outside. Sean just had a brilliant performance with a masterful game plan and the sensitivity to beat one of the most lights out, prolific strikers that the middleweight division has seen. And I feel like Sean doesn't get the credit he deserves for that win a lot of times. And I don't know why. I think a lot of people, too many people, chalk it up to Izzy having a bad night and not Sean Strickland having the performance of his life.
Yeah, it was certainly a great performance, and this is his teammate. And I think this fight is definitely coming down to this final round. I got Marc-Andre winning the first one, and then Danger saying it, and I think the same. These judges are talking a lot about the damage tonight, or they're showing that. Yeah. And Chris got way more damage in that last round. So if he's able to go out there and kind of do that, his boxing's looking pretty sharp. He moves pretty good for a bulky looking guy. I don't know. He kind of almost looks like he could make it down to 170.
Who's that, Curtis?
Yeah. I mean, I know he's thick.
Yeah, he's thick. He
kind of looks like he might be able to hang at 170. But then again, you don't want to overcut and then find yourself depleted and
Chris
Chinny.
has landed some nice digging uppercuts to the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if Chris keeps up this pace and keeps landing those short inside shots and those hooks and uppercuts, he might be able to snag this fight. 3 minutes left, just over 3 minutes, and this is certainly anybody's fight still at this point. And I'm sure Eric Nixick is telling that to his fighter. Look, go out there and win. 2.5 of these 3.5 minutes left, and you're going to get your hand raised.
Yep.
Kevin Iole on the screen, he's got it 19-19.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah. Ryan
10-9.
Fedrick, the same thing.
Yeah, it's got to be. I don't really see the first round was so inactive, but when there's close rounds like the first one, then it can really go either way.
Yeah. How's that camera?
It just turned off again.
Oh shoot!
Oh, stick with us, y'all. Stick with us.
We got little technical difficulty with the camera again.
Jules doesn't like Sean at all, but that was an amazing performance.
Well, there you go. That's an unbiased opinion.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what people love, according to the internet. They love unbiased opinions, Jules. All right, so they're biting down on the mouthpiece now and really starting to throw. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We should be back in any second. We're coming up on the halfway point of the final round.
Back on.
We got Marc-Andre sort of risking it now. He realizes that he's just got to make it a dogfight. If that's what Curtis wants, Chris Curtis wants, then that's what he's going to give him. He's going to start to just go in there and trade on the inside, sit in the pocket and throw. Yeah, and see,
nice elbow. Yeah, beautiful elbows by both men there.
Yeah, they're both starting to throw some great close range stuff, not just hands.
Yeah, Marc-Andre landed some nice, but then Curtis back with some shots of his own.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this fight went from not so great in the first round to a lot of fun here in the third.
Yeah, very entertaining. Those shots on the chin don't feel good.
No, not at all. And both men are landing. So again, this tough right there, perfect. It was a beautiful hook by Marc-Andre, and then a nice uppercut to answer from Chris Curtis.
This clinch work is pretty cool. This is a great representation of MMA clinch work. Overhooked for some uppercuts, throw some elbows, all sorts of stuff like this. Thai clinch is very different, but MMA clinch is one of those things where you got to throw all sorts of stuff, and you kind of have to be able to bail. You got to be able to take one step away and get back out into punching range. But this right here is exactly what an MMA style clinch looks like. All right, we just got a big uppercut while Marc-Andre was moving in. So Curtis landed a pretty good one. It sort of rocked him. More looked like it knocked him off balance, but it definitely looked like it affected him. Marc-Andre's feeling it. He's starting to wear these shots a little bit more and more. Curtis is still moving pretty well. He's got good head movement still. He's kind of having some fun in there. He's taken some shots, too many for my taste, but he looks good. And if he's landing 3 for every couple that come his way, then I guess he's doing all right. Got 45 seconds left on this one, and I really do think that if it continues at this pace, that we're going to get a 29-28 victory for Chris Curtis. He's going to keep his ranking.
Chris Curtis calling him to come into the middle and bang for the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, let's go.
Avi Shaleg's not liking this one. Is this a women's fight? ZZZ.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks for joining the chat, man, by the way.
Yeah, brother.
I saw his Instagram with the boxing gloves on today. Did you guys get some work in?
Man, we did one of my favorite combos today. you know the one. 1-2-1. That delayed second jab.
Yeah, that resets everything. It's most people think you're going to get the 1-2-3 and that hook, which obviously one of the tried and true effective combos, the most common, 3-punch combination, I would say. But the 1-2-1 really kind of resets things, and it really disrupts your opponent's ability to counter. Right. I love that sequence.
And everybody likes to use the same timing. Bop, bop, bop. But we were working that 1-2, and then there's a slight delay, and then you throw that long jab again when they think the combination's over, and they start to let their defense down a little bit. Avi was landing it like money, though. It was pretty smooth. Anybody that wants a celebrity super fight in the real estate world, they know who to call.
There you go, yeah.
The belt goes through Avi Shaleg. Let's go. The Shaleg team.
There you go. So Avi says my pad work has better action. I got to see it. I got to come up and see one of these sessions one day. Jules thinks the Canadian won. And Avi, my jab was as good as GSP. All right, now.
No,
all right.
hey, no. Some of them were popping like GSP. I got your back, Avi. Some of them were popping like GSP. He was staying super bladed.
Nice.
Yeah,
man, hitting pads is one of the most fun things you can do. One of the most exhausting physical exercises you can do as well.
So Mike Malott's next.
Yeah, Mike Malott and Neil Magny up next,
and then that really interesting,
co-main event. You're not being the slightest bit sarcastic, are you?
Me and Avi were talking about how excited we were for that one today. It was cutting into our punching time.
Let's see.
Yeah, drop a comment, y'all.
Yeah, who do you guys think? We got 25 in the chat. Drop us a comment. Who do you think won that last fight? Avi's got Mike Malott in the next one. Yeah, I think Mike's going to win that. Neil Magny's a vet, but I think he's kind of on the downhill slide now at this point.
He's fought everybody. Neil Magny Hall of Fame?
No.
Yeah.
You know it fun. When you say it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Khabib.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. TJ Dillashaw? Yes.
Yeah.
It's got to
be. Yeah, that one took me. Yeah, it got to be.
Cody Garbrandt. Nope.
So we're going to get a split decision here. Chris Curtis by a split decision. I had Curtis winning. I think 2 rounds to 1. Chris Curtis is the right call.
Yeah, 2 rounds to 1.
Round 1 to Marc-Andre, and then the last 2 to Curtis there. Do you guys agree with that that decision there?
Yeah, I think that was a good one.
Let me see.
All right, so DC's talking to him. He said that, Marc-Andre was a really tough opponent, really hard to deal with, and he was hard to get out of there because Chris Curtis is known. He's 31-10 now, but he's got 17 knockouts, so he's a heavy-handed dude. He's known to get people out of there, but Marc-Andre is one of those tough dudes, and stylistically, that was a fun last round, but the rest of the fight really didn't mesh that well.
Yeah, I think it was the right call. I think split decision, but I certainly had Chris Curtis winning that fight. The last judge scored at 30-27 for Curtis, which I found a bit off. I think it was 2 rounds to 1, Chris Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? Anybody think that there was a robbery in that one? We got 26 in the chat. Thank you guys for joining, and let us know. Do you think that fight was a robbery? Anybody think Marc-Andre won?
Yeah.
All right. We just dropped the poll, guys. Who do you have in the next one? Neil Magny or Mike Malott? Let us know. Who's taking Magny in this one? I got Mike Malott. So far, we got 67% for Mike Malott, 40% for Magny, but Magny's coming on now.
They're showcasing the next pay-per-view main event, Volkanovski versus Ilya. Early predictions on that one?
Volkanovski. Yeah. Ilya, I think, will be a champion at some point for sure. He's only 27 years old, and he's already fighting for titles, and he looks very good. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, a decision win over Josh Emmett being your best win so far in the UFC, I'm not ready to say that you're going to beat one of the best 145ers, if not the best 145er of all time.
Yeah. He's good. He's good. Yeah. But, this is just a tough fight. I really just want to see more out of Volkanovski. He took that fight on short notice, and then it seemed to me like he just was like, I just need to get back into fighting. And it felt to me like he should have taken more time. At the end of the day, he knows his body, he knows his mind better than anybody. And I think even though he might have had a little slide and the Islam second fight didn't go his way, he's probably coming in with a serious chip on his shoulder, just like he went back down to 45 the first time.
Yeah.
He came in like, look, I might have lost to the best fighter on the planet.
But watch how I beat one of the most prolific strikers in the division in Yair Rodriguez. I'm going to knock him out, and I'm actually going to make it look real easy. That finishing sequence that he did on Yair was an absolute thing of beauty. So I'm not ready to pass the torch just yet. Yeah, Volk is 36.
Avi wants to bet on this fight. You want to bet on Ilya or
on this next fight, Mike Malott and
I want to bet on
Neil
Bueno Silva, Raquel Pennington. Bet the house on that one.
So let's see
to
here.
put me to sleep.
Avi says he got robbed in that one, and Danger thinks 29-28 for Curtis was fine. I agree with that. Avi's got Ilya 100% in the next fight, and Jules says robbed. So Jules, you had Bueno Silva in that one.
Khabib has a win more recently than Brian Ortega. The fact that he's number 3 is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy actually. Who do you have? They're fighting each other. Ortega and Rodriguez in Mexico. Who do you have in that one?
Yair.
Yeah, I think so.
Didn't he already submit him?
Yeah, broke his shoulder. Yeah.
So
history is going to repeat itself.
Yeah.
It was an injury. It was kind of a weird finish, but it's
tapped.
I think it's going to happen. I think he's going to beat him again.
He put him in a position that made him tap.
Avi says, bet my house on Ilya.
Oh, dude.
Damn, you're confident with Ilya Taporia, man.
You got a nice place.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
I don't want to be homeless, so I'm not gonna.
No. We were actually, huh? You got all right.
Yeah. Bueno Silva needs to win so we can see more of her girlfriend.
Does she have a girlfriend?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, both of them do. Yeah, she's a looker. Nice looking.
I know they both do, but
yeah,
I wasn't expecting much out of Raquel.
She's is it Tisha Torres? I think they've got a baby together.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that?
But so it's going to be interesting. This next one, I think Mike Malott's going to knock out Neil Magny. I'm going to say second round TKO finish.
Somebody was talking about how Jeff Molina, I guess, is like the first openly gay fighter or whatever. And somebody who didn't know the sport was like, openly gay. So like he's the first openly gay fighter of all men and women. And somebody was like, I think it was Joe Rogan's like, oh no, most of the women are openly gay.
Let's preface that with men. Yeah. So Avi says sub. So he thinks Mike Malott's going to catch the sub. I don't know. Neil Magny's a really good jiu-jitsu player. I think it's going to be hard to submit Magny. I think Mike's going to get a TKO finish here.
Dude's pretty good.
His brother is a professional
NHL
hockey player, isn't he?
Yeah.
Which team does he play for?
Don't know.
Mike will sub Magny. Let's see. I don't know.
Is that Ian? Oh, I thought that was Ian Gary for a second. I was about to get excited.
Did they put Gary? They put him on 298, right? He's up on the next pay-per-view. Yeah, Jeff Neal and Ian Gary.
He's fighting Jeff Neal next?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they scratched the Luke.
I hope
fight.
Jeff Neal puts it on him.
Yeah, Jeff Neal is, I mean, looking as to what how competitive he was against Shavkat Rakhmonov, I wouldn't put it past him to win that fight.
I saw him the morning after.
Yeah.
Yeah, his face looked like he got stung by.
Didn't he tell you? He was like, I'm glad you were entertained.
Yeah, no, yeah. And, you know, I know he missed weight that night, but he still got his $50K bonus.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And he deserved it.
Yeah, every bit of it. That was a great performance.
Yeah, that was awesome. He was cool to hang out with.
Yeah, Neil Magny.
Neil's good too, though.
He's got some good subs. I mean, Neil's a vet.
Neil's the kind of dude where, of course, I don't think he needs to leave the UFC right now by any means, but he could go do some things in other organizations.
Oh yeah,
PFL. You tell me he goes over to bare knuckle that people wouldn't tune in.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would.
People would watch.
He could also do some grappling matches. He's a very good grappler, and I'm not ready to call off his UFC stint either. But he is reaching. I think he's going to have more losses than wins over the next few fights, in my opinion. Now, he's still able to get in there and compete with people, but they're going to use Neil at this point, unfortunately, if you're Neil Magny, for up-and-comers like Mike Malott. And I think Mike's going to be just a little bit too much. Let's check
most of Ireland hoping Gary loses. Yeah. My thing with
he's blown his own fan base. Yeah, he really kind of has.
My thing with Gary is he's really not great on the microphone. All he does is copy Conor McGregor.
Yeah, and
those lines are great the first time you hear them. But I don't want to hear somebody else say we're not here to take part, we're here to take over. That's Conor's thing.
Right.
I don't need to hear you copy Conor. I need to hear what you have to say.
That's right.
And now he's not even saying what he has to say. He's saying what his girlfriend writes on a paper. And then he's like, he's literally reading it off a script.
It does seem like a lot of the stuff he says is either recycled Conor McGregor material or it's scripted.
Yeah.
You know, and it's unfortunately for him, I don't think he's handled this whole situation with Strickland well. No. I don't think that he's
Strickland was trying to throw him a bone, trying to help him.
Yeah, if you ask Sean, I truly believe that Sean believes that too. I don't think, I mean, Sean is a shoot from the hip kind of guy and speaks his mind. I think he was literally, if you ask Sean, he was not trolling him in the beginning. He was like, look, I just, I heard some stuff and I got to help a fellow fighter out. But
you know who's down for Strickland is Nina Drama.
She is.
She is a #1 fan for him.
I thought they were like together. They're together so much. But then, you know, Sean's girlfriend is always with them, and her and Nina seem to be
cool,
quite friendly. But
the way
talk about people that have blown up
Yeah.
in the MMA world. And
She's putting everybody to shame.
Everybody,
She's putting everybody's numbers to shame. Even,
nobody's growing like Nina.
Even Chael.
Yeah.
She's putting Chael's numbers to shame right now.
She's different. She's in her own lane. She does her own. She's not a fighter. She's not somebody who's an expert on the X's and O's, but she's got a great personality, and she approaches the interviews from the standpoint of, you know, I'm going to stick with what I do, a little funny, a little light, and get to know the fighter. And I think people kind of appreciate that. They appreciate the fact that
if you've been in the entertainment space or the fight space, you know, you get the same 10 questions over and over again, interview after interview. And so when she's in there talking about some other stuff, maybe bringing up something from your past, it's just a breath of fresh air. And it almost gets you to not think about the fights or not think about the same questions over and over again. Kind of lets you be free for a moment. And I think that's why the people kind of like her, relate to her. Obviously, she's not the greatest talking head in the entire sport, but she's good for the sport. And the fact that she's embraced the sport so much, embraced the UFC, and is really like trying to improve her skills and her knowledge on the sport, she's got a place in the sport. So, you know, not everybody's going to be Dominic Cruz on the microphone, you know, but do we need any more of him?
Speaking of Dominic Cruz, JD's in the chat.
Oh man, JD, your favorite fighter, Dominic Cruz, ready to call the 1s and 2s out of Canada.
I don't see Sean Strickland check Nina's kick.
No.
He was like, "Oh, I kicked me in the leg," and she had a shin pad on, and he checked it, and it dropped her. So,
really?
oh my God.
Yeah. Vanessa,
give me just 1 second.
All right, I'm taking over 1s and 2s. Vanessa Delopoulos, Dinopoulos. Yeah, I'm bad with names, but she kicked somebody's leg, like a videographer the other day, and she had heels on, but she still kind of put her weight into it, and it doesn't look like she's cutting weight right now. Man, she looks strong, she looks heavy, and she put all of it into it, and it looked like it hurt really bad. The dude's like heavy in his front leg, so I bet it hurt.
Got his input on what UFC 300 should be.
JD versus Dom. Oh man, main event that. JD versus Dominic Cruz. I'm not convinced that wouldn't go your way, JD. When he's not running his mouth on the microphone, he's running in the octagon. Am I right? Dominic Cruz, though, he does belong in the Hall of Fame. So we were having a Hall of Fame chat earlier, JD, in case you were wondering who belongs. And when I say their name, you can feel it. Like Conor McGregor. Yes, he's going in the Hall of Fame. If you say their name, instantly you get that feeling, yes or no. And that's the gut reaction for if they belong in the Hall of Fame as today sits. But DC said Jim Miller, who has all these records, doesn't belong. And I just think that's crazy. Oh, Avi, you're not a fan of Nina? Well, I can see how she would rub you the wrong way. But I think, you know, she's pretty harmless. And as long as she's getting these fighters more views and she's getting these guys some more FaceTime with more audience, new audience and a different audience, I'm all for it. Like I said, she's not going to blow your brains backwards with the X's and O's or the way she likes to talk about fights or even, you know, the way she can promote them. But she's pretty good at just giving the guys something different, something a little bit more unique out of an interview than just, you know, the same 10 questions that these boring dudes that show up at all the press conferences ask them, the same dudes that call them all fight camp and ask them the same 10 questions on a Zoom that keeps like cutting in and out. So yeah, I'm all about giving the people something a little bit different than what they're used to. All right, Mike Malott, 10-1-1, 6'1", 170 pounds, fighting out of Canada.
He's like Loaf.
Yeah, yeah, he kind of looks like that YouTuber Loaf, if you know him, you know. And he's fighting in front of his home country. And Neil Magny, you know, everybody knows Neil. He's not afraid of anybody. 6'3", 171. Oh, 3-1 underdog. So probably a good bet to put on Neil because at 170 pounds, anything can happen. And Mike Malott's probably going to go out there and try to prove a point, which might leave him open a little bit, susceptible to getting hit. If he gets hit, Neil Magny can hit you hard enough to stun you, and then he can certainly get the job done on the ground. I don't know. 3-1 isn't something I'd like to bet on. It has to be a little bit bigger and a little bit more of a mismatch for me. But anybody putting money on these fights? Y'all let me know. I had a friend, I was watching the Houston Texans play a game today. They lost horribly but he had like $2,000 on the game, and it wasn't fun for him to watch like the last quarter. But yeah, either way, betting makes everything more fun. You get a little money on the line, then everything's more exciting. Every punch means something. All right, Mike Malott. All right, they're kind of feeling each other out right now. Not really doing a whole lot of striking yet. We got this back push kick coming off of Mike Malott. He's sending it to the front leg of Neil Magny. Kind of one of those oblique kicks. Kind of a dick move, honestly. But hey, it works. It's legal. And it's kind of one of those unwritten rules not to throw it. But if you're doing it with the back leg, I guess it's a little bit less of a D-bag move than when the people do like the karate style chop right to the top of the knee and aim for the top. That's not my kind of move at all. Like, of course, if somebody's throwing at you, throw it back at them. But it's one of those gentleman's agreements that most people just don't throw that kick.
Sorry about that, guys.
All right. So they've maintained a lot of distance this whole time. Mike's trying to control a little bit with the kicking range, but Neil Magny's just looking to engage. He's just looking to actually get the fight going. What's that noise?
So this is the So knee on the outside there by Magny.
Sin sign Mike Malott.
Yeah, he was certainly wearing a full send hoodie at the press conference. I think so, because he's a local guy, and Kyle is from Toronto, so there's that connection there.
You see Toronto's own Drake put $700K of
Sean Strickland
money on.
Yeah, I always wondered that. Is Drake he certainly got the money to put $700K on a fight and not think twice about it, but I always wonder if that's just the sponsorship deal where DraftKings gives him the money to do the betting, or if it's actually his money.
It's not his money.
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah. It's a way to promote.
Mike's throwing some heavy calf kicks there.
It's cheap promotion, but it works every time.
Yeah.
They put Drake, biggest celebrity, biggest singer out there, on this betting site. They put a ridiculous number every time, and then everybody talks about it. Yeah,
they haven't really panned the crowd much, but I was wondering, I know he doesn't live. I think he spends a lot of time here in Houston now, actually.
Yeah, he got a place here.
But, whoa, that was a nice little question mark kick over the top there by Mike Malott.
Yeah.
Now, this will be interesting to see because Neil Magny is a great grappler, what Mike can do in these sorts of exchanges here.
Yeah. I'd like to know the strength difference. It looks like Mike is a stronger guy, but Magny's obviously been able to manhandle dudes at 170 before, so we could see Mike go in there and try to grapple with him and realize that he's dealing with somebody a little bit more durable than he had anticipated.
Yeah, Magny's a gamer, man. He's gonna always bring it, no matter who he's in there with, no matter how big of an underdog he is. And Mike Malott in a lot of ways is fighting for a number next to his name. Neil Magny's just on the inside of that top 15, so Malott, those calf kicks are really starting to pay dividends for Mike. That last one hurt Magny there. You see Magny trying to.
Now, is that a page out of the Ian Gary book?
What's that?
Kick the leg, kick the calf. Wasn't he chewing up Neil Magny's leg?
Yes. Yeah, he did throw a lot of calf kicks.
He threw a lot of thigh kicks and calf kicks and really started to chop Magny's leg up.
So 10 leg kicks to 1 for Malott. So the story here in round 1 has really been the effectiveness of the leg kicks of Mike Malott. And that last one you could see affected Neil Magny there.
Yeah, just check it. Just check one. It's going to hurt, but it'll stop him from throwing them.
Yeah, Bob Perez talks a lot about the calf kick being a very much a risk reward thing. And, while it's can be very effective to tear up that small muscle that you need to bear a lot of weight on through it. Yeah, he's starting to have some pain in that front calf.
Hey, we got something from Abel Du Toit. And sorry, brother, if I misspelled your name or missaid it. Also,
this is in Afrikaans. I don't know what it means, but I've seen this a lot on the Dricus videos that we do.
Okay.
Maybe you could translate that for us. Thank you for joining the live. I'll take it you're going to go with Dricus in the main event. But let us know, Abel. Sorry if we're pronouncing your name wrong. What does that mean? Can you translate it for us in the comments?
Yeah. If not, we'll try to get our producer to do it.
Yeah, Neil Magny's bouncing on that leg now.
So yeah, I guess Mike's got a lot of power in those kicks.
Yeah, his kicks have looked very sharp, and he's timing them well.
Yeah, got a solid hind quarter on the kid.
When you're throwing that many calf kicks, it's your opponent knows it's coming. So then it really comes down to the timing. How are you going to handle, landing the shot that you want to land when your opponent knows that you're going to throw it? And it's all about feinting and picking up on the reads. And so far, Mike's done a really good job of that.
Yeah. Hey, just so my phone doesn't die, you guys have that charger?
Yeah, the portable charger's right there.
Only if you're done with it.
Yeah, this is the fast one. I'm already at 100.
All right, cool.
Chris coming through with
Don't worry,
the
I'm not
chargers
going
there.
It's a long one. It is, but not long enough to do that, unfortunately. But I mean, in 15 minutes.
So what do you guys think? Are y'all thinking TKO for Neil Magny here, or sorry, for Mike Malott in the second round? It looks like Neil Magny's calf is not going to hold up much longer. So I'm going to say Mike gets it done in this round. He lands some more big calf kicks, and then he goes upstairs with some power shots. I'm going to need to get that charger here in a second as well.
Mine's almost dead.
I'm racing you for who gets the dead phone the quickest. So Neil Magny throwing a calf kick of his own there. So we are just into round 2. If you guys want to sync up with us, we're 4 minutes and 50-something seconds into round number 2.
It apparently is some kind of song, that saying.
Oh, it's a song. Okay, yeah. So that saying in Afrikaans is a song of some kind. So Joe Rogan would be screaming how compromised Neil's leg is. Yeah, you're right, JD. No doubt about that.
He's probably smoking a cigar, talking about how Joey Diaz lit a hooker's wig on fire.
Yeah, they're live right now with.
We're doing a diet fight companion.
A few thousand more people than we've got, but that's okay.
But we appreciate you guys.
We appreciate
being
you, as they say on, or as Jay-Z said, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us.
Right, and we appreciate that. And also, we're all about quality over here, not quantity. So even though they might have hundreds of thousands, we'll take you 25 instead.
Any day of the week.
Day.
Yeah, we got the crew here.
And twice on Sunday. So we got Magny. Looks like he's doing all right, but
Mike going to the body now. Yeah, that was a nice change up because he kind of switched stances there for a second and threw that. So Mike Malott looks good. Mike Malott to me looks like someone who beautiful takedown there by Malott. He looks like someone who belongs in the top 15.
Yeah,
he
got touched a little bit there, and then
he's got a lot of the skills that you need to be successful. He's young. He's got the proper style. He's kind of Mike is sort of a well-rounded fighter. He's kind of good everywhere.
If he links up with the Nelk boys, Dana will put him in the top 10.
Yeah, no kidding. Dana, he loves Nelk, man. He's been quite plugged in with them.
I'm all about Kyle. Kyle deserves all the success and credit that he's built up over the past few years. But man, it went from Steve will do it and pranks to now it's like, I'm not the biggest fan of some of the other people.
Steiny.
Yeah. Steiny's the one, man.
He's a little annoying, yeah.
How is he in there with Kyle? Kyle does it so well, and then he's just kind of so flat, and his skill set just ain't really skillful.
Well, the thing too, that was a beautiful body lock takedown there by Mike Malott. He's starting to really take over, and this is what I wanted to see. Can Mike Malott out grapple Neil Magny? Because Neil Magny is an excellent submission artist. He's a great all-around grappler. And Mike Malott really getting some nice, well-timed takedowns. And then he's doing what he needs to do on top to be successful.
Yeah. It's funny. Jules said she doesn't watch
Joe Rogan. Yeah. You know, a lot. He's not everybody's cup of tea. He's certainly the biggest podcaster in the game, but you know,
and not to shine our own wheels or anything, but the other day I was at the gym and one of my friends was telling me that he was showing another MMA friend and fan our podcast, and he was showing him the short clips on Instagram. And he told him, he was like, you got to check this, my friend's channel out. Speaking about the Barnhill brothers, Joe Rogan follows them. And I stopped him. I said, wait a second. What did you just say? He said, yeah, I told him that Joe Rogan follows you. And I said, what do you mean Joe Rogan follows me? He goes, bro, unless I'm tripping, that's what it said on my phone as far as mutual follows go. Sure enough, I was like, I don't believe you. We're in the gym working out. I literally grab my phone, go to the Barnhill brothers Instagram page, start scrolling through. Sure enough, I type in Joe and then an R, and then Joe Rogan pops up. It's the real one. It's the legit page. It's got the blue check mark and all. And I was blown away. It was something really special. So cut to a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to somebody, and I was going to, shine my own wheels up in a conversation, talking about, I think it's pretty cool that the biggest personality in all of podcasting and all of MMA, one of the biggest names and voices in the entire world, Joe Rogan, follows me and follows the podcast and likes the content we put out, all to be told, I don't know who Joe Rogan is, to the person I was telling it to.
No kidding.
Yeah. Miss Pam. She had no idea. So, shout out Miss Pam. But, it's always good to have those kinds of moments. So, but, my friend JD was like, yeah, man, Joe Rogan definitely followed you guys' page because I've been knowing that ever since I followed you because he was the only mutual follow that I had. So it's kind of wild to see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That was one of those moments that was like, man, like that's it seems like our content is starting to get out there, which is
awesome,
which is pretty cool.
And it's all thanks to y'all, man.
Yeah, thank you. YouTube is our platform, man. Yeah. It's we post clippings of these shows that we do, shorter clippings on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, but really YouTube is where we put the focus. That was a really nice round for Mike Malott there. He's starting to come on strong, taking full mount, doing some damage on the ground.
Yeah. Neil Magny looks like he's seen better days.
Yeah, he's unfortunately, as I said in the beginning, he's kind of on his downhill slide. He's going to be one of those, win one and lose 3 or 4 kind of guy from now until the point that he's no longer in the organization. But he's been a great veteran. He's got a lot of wins. If you look at his record, he's beaten a lot of people that you would know. So and fought everybody you would know. So but Mike's looking good, man. Mike's looking like the new generation. And the cool thing about the new generation of fighters is like Sean Strickland, Mike Malott, these guys, they're not wrestlers that became MMA fighters. They're not Muay Thai guys that became MMA fighters or jiu-jitsu guys. They're MMA fighters. They started at, back when the MMA first started, it was you had to come from one style.
Right.
And then you had to bounce to another gym to learn. If you were a grappler, you had to go to a striking gym and vice versa. And then you had to go somewhere and try to piece it all together. But now people are starting in the sport as MMA fighters. They never went down the route of being a jiu-jitsu practitioner trying to earn a black belt or being a kickboxer trying to get a record. They just are MMA guys. And Mike Malott's kind of one of those guys. And he's, Neil Magny's as proficient a jiu-jitsu player as it gets. And Mike Malott's kind of big brothering him here.
And Neil Magny probably before he got, situated at high altitude, which I think where he spent the majority of his training career, he was probably that guy, just like many other people, just like us, everybody that went to jiu-jitsu at a jiu-jitsu gym and then put the jiu-jitsu bag down and went to a boxing gym and grabbed his boxing gloves and did boxing there. And then you kind of had to tie it all together yourself. Now what you're seeing is these kids from a young age, they're doing MMA. And a lot of what fighters, whether they came from grappling or they came from striking, a lot of what they do is once they find MMA and they came in with a base, is they do a lot of unlearning for the sport, right? So if you're a jiu-jitsu guy and you want to learn MMA, but your game has been guard pulling, and then playing from the bottom, you basically have to go unlearn all that stuff because that's really not a game suitable for MMA. And it's a very interesting thing because now we're seeing guys do jiu-jitsu for MMA. We're seeing guys do Muay Thai for MMA, clinch for MMA, everything, even boxing for MMA. And don't get me wrong, you still want to go in with your specialists. You still want to go in with the guys that only do those types of, martial arts. But when you're talking about completing your game for mixed martial arts contests, you have to go in there with the guys that are doing it for MMA. They're not just doing it for their sport, because everything's different. In Muay Thai, there's guys that will probably, you go watch them fight in stadiums in Thailand, and they will check every kick that comes their way.
Right.
You can't really do that in MMA. Of course, in theory, that would be awesome, but it's not practical, because then you'll get caught and you'll get taken down. But you can't also, rely on pulling guard, and then playing off your back in MMA, because that won't work either. So you have to modify your game. And I really love that the next generation is doing that. And one thing I'll say is MMA, even up to this point, in the 30 years it's been around, has progressed faster than any sport. And I still don't think the speediest progression has taken place. I think when this next stable of kids comes through when it's really going to make some progress.
Dude, I've seen some like kids amateur fights that they're letting these like 11, 12, 13-year-olds out of Dagestan fight. It's like, dude, nobody that's in the UFC right now stands a chance when these kids are like that adults.
That guy's switch kick is better than Cowboy Cerrone's right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be wild. And that's one of the beautiful things about being a fan of a growing sport, is that it's football, American football, basketball, things like that. They're still progressing, and people are getting better now than they have been in the past, but not to this level. Yeah. And this right now, the UFC, MMA in general, that was a nice little takedown there by Magny. He's going to work from top position now with 1.5 minutes left. But you're seeing the progression in a sport. Mike Malott looks like he's looking for a knee bar there. But
you don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't.
Neil's angry.
Yeah,
and he's down. So Neil's got to go for a finish. If I was Neil, I would. You got to just start hammering away.
This leg entanglement by Mike is not what he needs to be doing here. Looking for a straight ankle lock, it looks like. But Neil's a veteran. And
he's a good grappler. Yeah. Neil knows his jiu-jitsu pretty well. All right. Yeah, what you got to do is you got to kill the hips of Mike Malott, get your leg free, or at least get it tucked up under you, and start hammer fisting and striking. Yeah, don't let him build his base. If you let him build his base, he's going to be able to invert back under you. Now he's in full mount.
Yeah, Mike Malott's in a
all right.
Bit
Now
of
you
better.
better
Neil Magny looking to take the
he's
back,
just covering up.
I think that leg entanglement was a big mistake for Mike Malott.
Neil really needs to lay on. He's only got 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Work. All right, he's going to finish.
He might get a finish.
Neil Magny's going to get a finish, y'all.
Unbelievable.
Neil Magny is inches away from a finish. He's smashing. He's got 30 seconds to work. This is the longest 30 seconds. Yep. Come on.
I'm telling you, the veteran, it's
come on.
Oh, wow.
Hey, you got to stop the fight.
Wow, look at that. Yep, Mike Malott, big mistake. Big mistake.
That's what happens when you play
position over submission.
Look at he's out.
Yeah.
Bro, he is out to lunch.
Yeah, Danger said Magny needed 5 rounds here. Man, he only needed 3. Look at that.
Hey,
wow.
Man, Magny's a monster.
I'm telling you, that's what I said. Veteran craftiness with Neil Magny. Now, I picked Mike Malott to win. I'll own that. But Neil Magny, you can't screw around with a guy like that. You can't be going for leg like inverting in a knee bar and stuff like that. He's a veteran. You're not going to knee bar Neil Magny in an MMA fight, unless it's just a dead to right submission. But Mike's not that guy. Mike's not a jiu-jitsu ace sort of specialist. That was a mistake that proved to be really costly for
you never pull guard and try to do
fight.
And try to do a guillotine. No, you never do that, because not only, Neil let him down softly, but you'll get down and you end up doing. Now you're looking for inversions. That's just not what you want to do. That people will leave with a torn ACL to knock you unconscious.
Yeah,
and Neil Magny's a veteran. He knows, it's optics at that point. He's got 30 seconds to work. Mark Goddard knows to keep you guys safe, and it's really Magny's fault if one or two of these goes towards the back of the head. He's got to keep Mike Malott safe. It's got to suck for Mike and his team to see him 15 seconds away.
Jules says early stoppage. I don't know. That was a lot of unanswered face shots there.
It might have looked like it at first, Jules, but look at his face when he was laying down on the ground. To me,
he didn't know where he was.
Yeah, to me, that looked like a dazed and confused fighter. Shout out Led Zeppelin. Oh, that's not Mark Goddard. That looks like his dad or something.
Yeah. Short Mark Goddard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's been a couple refs that I haven't recognized tonight.
And I don't know everybody in Toronto,
Yeah,
but I would
Mike's still on the ground.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a clean stoppage.
Yeah.
He was actually very hurt.
And if he's a dad, then he's not a happy dad tonight.
That's
But
right.
shout out to the Full Send boys.
Yeah, that's even as good of a jiu-jitsu specialist as somebody like a Crone Gracie is, right? We've seen Crone have real problems in an MMA fight on the ground against people trying to do things like invert for leg entanglements and pull guard and stuff like that. It just doesn't work in MMA when you're sweaty, when there's no gi to grab, when strikes can be rained down, and you have the hammer fists, and it's just not a good idea. It's not a good idea at all. And Neil Magny just showed Mike Malott, that Mike Malott's still on the come up. That's a rookie mistake.
Now put some respect on Neil Magny. A second ago, I talked about Hall of Fame. Jim Miller, yes. Arlovsky, yes. Cerrone, yes. Oliveira, yes.
Neil Magny,
he might have to belong.
Yeah. I mean,
we don't. Is it how much of an elite club is it?
See, this was kind of the beginning of the end for Mike here. He's holding on in the guard, which is fine. But then he if he had kept that clasp, he probably could have waited for the right timing and exploded out of the bottom position. But instead, he allowed the distance to be created and tried to invert. And that was the major problem for him there. So, guys, we just dropped in the chat the co-main event, Mayra Bueno Silva, Raquel Pennington. Let us know who you got in this one.
No, I'm joking.
Watch this be the fight of the night. Everybody's like, oh, this fight sucks. It's a snooze fest. Watch this be like one of the best fights of the night.
I don't doubt that it'll be that it will be like a boring fight, but it's just, oh, look, it's Dan Bilzerian.
I haven't seen him in a long time. I'm gonna bully your son.
Oh man, everybody's least favorite fighter.
Amanda.
Forget the name.
Look at the little earphones on the baby there.
That's the same ones
cute.
Luke wore to my boxing
when you
match.
had
yeah. Uh-oh. They're trying to figure out a jab here.
Why is Raquel Pennington in boxing gloves?
That's weird.
That is very strange.
That must not be live.
No.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know. It looked to me like they couldn't quite find connections with the mitts.
Danger said, I don't think any of the Canadian men have won tonight. I think on the prelims, a couple of the first ones, there was a few Canadians that won. Some of the girls won. Yeah, the men. Yeah, you said men. Yeah, I don't know if any of the men won. I know some of the ladies won.
All right. Based off of mitt work in the locker room alone.
There's your girl, Danger.
Bueno is going to win.
So we got
some video game they're showing it does
34 in the chat. Thank you guys all for joining. If you guys are just popping in, we've been here through the whole main card. We're going to be here through the main event. Thank you for being here, and we're your home for all things combat sports.
Yeah.
We talk a lot of MMA, a little bit of boxing. Every now and then we talk some bare knuckle, and this is what we do. So thank you guys for being here.
Grappling, we might talk about it, but most of the time we don't. But he's pretty much the only exception. Yeah,
we're the only weird people that watch grappling.
Yeah.
So Bueno Silva, Raquel Pennington. What can you say?
Title?
Well, Juliana Pena, truthfully, should be fighting for the title. Amanda vacated. She's there in the crowd, obviously. It's number 2 versus number 3. So just to say that's purely based off of rankings, I think that's the only argument that could be made there. Raquel Pennington has fought everybody. I mean, she's a vet.
Yeah.
But she's also does the 35 curse translate to women, because Raquel Pennington just turned 35. So, I think it's like 3 and 30 or some crazy statistic like that after the age of 35 and you haven't been a champion and you're pining to become the champion, almost 100% of the time you don't win that fight. We just saw Colby Covington prove that statistic true most recently against Leon Edwards. So it'll be interesting. So here's the timeline.
See, I feel like Holly Holm would beat both of them.
I think so. So
I feel like
Amanda Nunes became champion in 2016 and was the champion up until the point that she retired, or until she
Hall
lost
of Fame?
to. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, Amanda Nunes is one of the. She's the GOAT for ladies.
That's
MMA.
the reaction you need. For first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, first ballot.
Valentina.
For sure, yeah, no doubt.
Joanna.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Thug Rose.
Joanna, Rose, Ronda.
Second ballot.
Yeah. No, Rose deserves it.
Yeah.
But Rose is fighting
Jean Weili. Oh
Yeah.
God, no.
Carla
No
Esparza.
chance.
Yeah, she's in.
Diego Sanchez?
Yeah, Diego's in.
All right, so you're just letting you're like the
Don't leave me in charge of the Hall of Fame.
You're like the
yeah.
bouncer at the door that lets all the
Everybody
underage
gets
kids
in. Yeah.
We heard CM Punk's outside.
Danger says,
Let
you're going
him
to do a
in.
live show for BKFC. You know, we could.
Yeah.
You know, since Austin's fighting,
Yeah.
that's next weekend?
It said 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Actually, it's 3. I think. It's not next weekend, and it's not your
Birthday.
Your is next weekend. So
Yeah.
it will be 2 weeks.
Yeah. Chris says it's 2 weeks from now. Yeah, we could
It
do
said
something.
2 weeks just on a post I saw on Instagram, but let's get the exact date and then let them know.
We'll
we
set
can
that
do
up.
it if
Is
you guys
that's
are
on your
interested.
birthday?
No, I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
my birthday is next Saturday.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's the week after that.
There's
And
no
there's
UFC
no fight.
no fights
next
on your
weekend.
birthday. You're off the hook. You don't have to
Right.
work and do a live on your birthday.
Watch out, Houston. I'm coming out. I'm going out on the town. But yeah, guys, my birthday. Hey,
So
guess how old I'm turning on the 27th.
this is the
of
big one
January.
for Nick. So
42nd.
actually, I am
It's a good one.
surprised by this poll. Raquel
got?
Pennington 55%, Mayra 45%.
I only picked Raquel because I figured everybody else would pick
Mayra. I'm going submission, Mayra Bueno Silva. I think she's going to come with an intensity that Raquel can't match. I think she's going to come with a pressure that Raquel can't match. And I think we're going to start to see the age catch up to Rocky a little bit here. That was a nice knee bar.
Oh,
She's a 125er. Yeah. Yeah. This is,
Valentina would smoke both of these
Yeah.
girls, though.
I think she may have moved up,
Okay.
I don't know.
but yeah, to be
yeah, 'cause
honest,
that was that Jillian Robertson girl, I think.
oh, Jules says happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah, Danger
it.
says 2 for 31 is the correct number for people after 35 to become champion. Woodley, the only guy to beat the curse. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much impossible. I think you're going to see more of it now, probably because people take better care of themselves. Like they know how to properly,
Yeah.
you know, people are working in a lot of this biohacking. They're using the cold plunge. They're using the sauna. They're training smarter. They're recovering more properly. They're utilizing the UFC's PI to you know, get all the massage therapy, physical therapy, dieting dialed in. So I do believe that, yeah, some people, I do believe that you're going to see people fight into the later years, whereas before it was kind of, and also the way people used to train, you know, they're kind of like how Sean Strickland trains now. He's kind of an homage to the old school.
Yeah.
Just throw your gloves on and fight.
It's funny because people always talk about it being old school, and you're 100% right. People have changed the way they eat, the way they sleep, the way they monitor their health, the way they train outside of the cage, and then the way they're training and the time they're spending grappling live and fighting live, sparring live. But make no mistake about it, very few fighters, even on the UFC's roster, feel comfortable taking sparring out of their daily routine or their weekly routine.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be in there getting that sensitivity. I agree with Sean. Obviously, you can't get chinny, and I wouldn't go with people 2 or 3 weight classes above you like he does. But man, you got to be on it. And I know people are like, oh, sparring every week is like the old school way, but that is still the way most people are doing it these days. Like, the best way to get good at something is by doing it.
Yeah.
It's like when these guys, I go to lift weights at some of the gyms, and they're like, how, you know, I weigh like 180 pounds. I can bench press like 315. Like, okay, have you ever fought? No, but like, you think I do pretty good? It's like, no,
not at
because-
all,
yeah,
unless
put
you
some
actually
respect-
train. Yeah.
Yeah, put some respect on the hours spent, you know?
That's like saying to a bodybuilder, I've never trained to do a show,
Mhm.
but you think if I just got on stage in a Speedo and flex that I could win? It's like, yeah, absolutely not.
Not a
yeah,
chance.
not a chance in the world.
Yeah.
Excuse me 1 second. I'll
But
be right
fighting's
back.
one of those different things, you know?
There's her girlfriend that was talking about it.
Oh. Sorry, just wanted to move that. All right, so Bueno's making her walk right now. She's walked out to something. She was given some praise from the former champ Amanda Nunes right there in the front row. It looks like they might be friends or something. And I don't know. Maybe Amanda gave her a couple things right before the title fight. If there's anybody that knows how to go into a bantamweight women's UFC title fight, it's Amanda Nunes. So maybe she's been couple slaps. You know how that goes. It's how some people like to go into the cage. They like to get their coach to slap them in the face, and she is one of them.
Surprised Sean doesn't
Sean, yeah. Sean Strickland probably, he seems like the kind of guy that would like that too. All good in the hood?
Thought he was moving, yeah.
No worries. I'll check the thing real quick. Oh, no, I don't have it. Smash the like button, chat, guys. Oh, man, thanks.
Appreciate you, Danger. Guys, I'm sorry to keep popping out. I'm actually on monitor duty here. My son is asleep in the next room, so Mama's in the middle of something, so I'm just watching to make sure he's not stirring up. So I apologize for the constant get-ups, but
I'm
duty
still
calls.
holding it down.
Yeah, Nick's holding it down for us.
Yeah. All right. Bueno Silva has entered the octagon. She's
multitasking.
She's dapping
tonight.
up all the security guards. And
we could probably shut that window now. I think it's probably Chris is going to get a hypothermic in here if we don't.
Yeah.
Good thing
it wasn't so bad.
Jacket.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad whenever I was out outside at McIntyre's early, but as soon as the sun went down, it got cold.
Oh yeah. A lot of you guys that are watching that are up north or overseas, you probably get a kick out of us for saying it's cold here. It's
it got all the way down to 58 today. Or something like that.
It's colder than that now. I'd say it's probably in the 30s. Or for you metric system folks, it's approaching 0.
Do you show the video or also just
No, yeah, we can't Shrike or I think that's how you pronounce it.
Shrike?
Yeah, we can't show the video. This would we would get cut off immediately. So just reaction, but hang out with us, put the fights on, and then we're just doing commentary. So if you want to join, and you're welcome to hang out and chat with us.
If you got really good eyes, maybe try to find something reflective and watch it through there. But,
my glasses might be
his glasses, or maybe I'll get some big fat mirror glasses.
Why has Nick got a mirror on his forehead?
Yeah. I'll get a like Flava Flav used to have those chains with a clock on it. I'll do like a big mirror and just sit right here.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, thanks, man. And Avi says it's time to take a nap. Wake him up in 30 minutes.
We got you, bro.
I'll call you, Avi, when it's time to get up.
Yeah, get little Saint to jump on him.
Yeah. All righty. So,
all right, she's got her own headphones in, so her walkout song must be irrelevant.
They should have no music playing over.
Yeah.
Whenever they do that.
Yeah, I don't get the whole head. It's like you get like there's like millions of songs. You pick yours, and 20,000 people have to sit there and listen to it.
Yeah.
And you don't even listen. You and Amanda Nunes' daughter are the only two that can't hear it. It's
right.
Ridiculous.
I think it's so explicit they wouldn't play it.
Danger says it's 6 Celsius and hella windy. Yeah, man, that's wind and cold is just not it for the combination.
I don't do well with that. I don't have the clothes for it. I'm not cut for that, but I also don't have the clothes for it.
We're Southern fellas,
the furthest north I'm moving. I heard somebody today, one of those guys, that guy from Louisiana with the super thick Louisiana accent. He goes, I lived in New Orleans. I lived an hour south of New Orleans. I was like, I didn't even know there was an hour south of New Orleans.
Yeah,
being in the
where
ocean.
is that in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico?
He goes, if you talk about the boot of Louisiana, we're in the pinky toe. So we're all the way down to the bottom. And he goes, I said, I'm never moving anywhere north of I-10. Which, if y'all aren't familiar, I-10 is like the lowest
highway in the United States. It cuts from Florida all the way across to California.
Yeah.
Avi says Saint's asleep already. He only watches McGregor fights.
There you go.
He is a fancy dog.
He has earned that. Yeah.
And Christopher Guzman, where does Strickland land in the middleweight rankings at the moment? Are you talking about of all time, or I mean, right now he's number one. He's the champ, but of all time, he's got some work to do still.
Well, I mean,
is he
okay? So I was actually talking about this today. So we're talking about like top 5 talents. Obviously, we're talking about modern era top 5 talents. You kind of got to go with John Jones, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Mighty Mouse.
Yeah,
and then I'm kind of hard pressed not to put Izzy in there with them.
Izzy over Khabib.
Yeah. I mean, he ran through the division and then did it again. And I just think that he went for champ status. It was a competitive fight. I think Izzy is one of those dudes that, I mean, Obviously, he's not the champ right now, but he sits at the very, very top of middleweight for sure.
Yeah.
At least middleweight. Him and Anderson Silva split middleweight as far as 1A and 1B.
Yeah, no question about that. And middleweight's been one of the most, prolific divisions of all time.
Yeah.
Here's the question.
And it's got a resurgence right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of on fire right now.
Islam Makhachev wants to fight Justin Gaethje in June, provided that he beats Max Holloway. He wants to fight the winner of Armin Charles in November, and then he wants to fight whoever, he said in February of 2025. Obviously, we can assume that will probably be for champ status.
Yeah.
So if Islam is able to defeat Justin, defeat the winner of Charles Armin, and then defeat whoever is holding the 170 belt, and I really think that can only be 3 people. It could be Leon, Bilal, or Shavkat. I think one of those 3 people will be holding the belt at 170 come February 2025. If he's able to successfully win all 3 of those fights, would he crack into that top 5 of the modern era for you?
Hold a thought. This is bizarre. She's like hyping Bruce up.
It's funny because her mom was doing her makeup for the press conference and she was crying her eyes out, and her mom was like, "Stop crying. I'm trying to put your makeup on." And she was like, "I'm just a very emotional person." So she's about
to start crying right now.
Yeah, she's a very emotional girl. But there's her mom right there.
Cool.
That was cute to see. Her mom is really seems to be a great person.
How about those shirts they're selling for Sean?
Which way? He's got a couple of them that he's
a woman in every kitchen and a gun in every hand.
Yeah, Sean.
That's his
Sean is
UFC
not
merch.
Here to make friends. He's here to be Sean. Yeah.
I love it. I think it's hilarious. And I was talking to somebody about it. Sean Strickland is everything that Colby Covington wished he was.
And he hates Colby.
Yeah.
He takes every opportunity to say that.
Yeah. Well, because it's not authentic. And I think Colby, I've heard nothing but good things about Colby on like a personal level. But Sean,
but the act is a bit much.
Sean's not acting.
No, Sean is, and that's to me what makes the best characters in MMA. Conor McGregor is just a slightly amped up version of himself when he's on camera.
Yeah. Speaking
Sean
about 185 looking really good, him and Chandler joining the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Strickland is unapologetically himself.
So Christopher Guzman clarifies a little bit. All time, if he defends his title for the next 5 fights in style, and also who you got between DDP and, I mean, if he defends 5 times in style, then he would be hard pressed not to be in the conversation. That's going to be painfully difficult to do.
In this era, you're not going to see somebody beat Anderson's record.
Yeah, it's
in my opinion.
Everybody's just too good now. There's too many people that are too good.
Too many ways to lose, and it's just a different game. Anderson was literally the reason Anderson will always make it to my Mount Rushmore as far as UFC fighters go is because he was literally such an innovator, and he was leaps and bounds above everybody skill wise for a little while. When he came in, people were like, "Oh, he's probably just a striker," and you're like, "Oh no, this is a whole different level what he's doing."
Yeah,
and he's just as good on the ground.
We got a little clinch here, guys. We're 4.5 minutes into round number 1 here.
Yeah. Good night, Avi.
Yep. So Danger says Silva kind of put a stain on his legacy by fighting too long. Bones is smart to stay. He wants to preserve his. Yeah, I mean, I think John Jones is being smart, not fighting Tom Aspinall. Yeah. Low key, I think Tom Aspinall can win that fight. John, and that's I'm sitting here talking about Ilya not being ready for Volk, and so obviously I understand the contradiction in what I'm saying, but I think Tom Aspinall is really good, man. I think he's only going to get better.
I think Tom is a future, obviously a future Hall of Famer. And if he continues and he's as good as advertised, and John Jones is out of the picture, you're talking about a guy that's going to be a dominant, not only a good champion, but a dominant champion at heavyweight. Yeah, I don't really see them, bringing a bunch of different people that are going to give him fits.
I thought nice elbow up the middle there for.
He had a good run on his way to the title too, where he fought some of the people that were also either on the rise or some of the bigger names that were left in the division.
Yeah.
And as it sits right now, I think he matches up well with everybody that is a top contender at heavyweight and would make it there in the next coming years. Of course, there's always going to be new people.
Right.
I want to see Alex Pereira go to heavyweight.
Yeah.
Alex Pereira, Hall of Famer?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. 100%. Yeah. Alex Pereira has had one of the most meteoric UFC careers of all, if not the most meteoric of all time.
Yeah.
Like if you think about what, Hamzat's rise,
It was crazy.
Pereira's got 2 belts and he's been in the UFC,
and 4 champions.
less time.
Beat 4 champions.
Yeah, 4 world champions on his record. So yeah, I mean, Alex Pereira for sure. I'm not one of the ones who's just like gung ho to see him go to heavyweight right now though, because I think he needs to. Oh, Bueno Silva work in the back here. I did say that if she's able to get a finish, it would likely be a submission. We'll see if Raquel can fight the hands here. So far, she's doing a good job of keeping the hands off of her neck.
Let's just get this sub going. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the main card does feel like it's gone on a little bit, but we got 34 in the chat now. Thank you guys for joining. Let's see. So actually, it's funny. We got almost 20 votes in the live chat on this fight.
Okay.
Who wins? And actually, Raquel Pennington's in the lead with 53% of the vote. I wonder if this back take is changing anybody's opinion. I think Bueno Silva is going to submit her. She's got the jiu-jitsu tat on the tricep.
They look like it looks like both of them went to the exact same tattoo artist and was like, hey, whatever was hot.
Give me what's on the wall.
Whatever was hot in the 90s on the wall, just give it to me.
Nice work by Bueno Silva to kind of weave the legs in and keep that back control. That's something that Charles Oliveira does really well. I think probably better than almost anybody. He can fight you on your back while you're standing.
Yeah.
It's all about, a lot of people will just put the hooks in and they'll get shucked off the top. But when you weave your legs in, that kind of allows for you to keep position a little bit longer and be more effective. But man,
I'm not really sure why Raquel just went to the knee. That just gave Bueno Silva a great opportunity to hook the leg the way she did. Now, I mean, she's literally on her back. I don't know why her feet are crossed. I'm sure she's a black belt, and her feet are crossed in there, which is just dangerous.
Yeah,
obviously you're not going to tap to like a foot lock right now, but you're in a UFC title fight. You just got to tough it out. But that's one of those things. Raquel could be looking for that.
There was a guy here in a local promotion. I can't even remember who it was that took the back of somebody.
Oh, I remember who it was.
And crossed his feet and got both of his ACLs snapped and had to verbally tap.
Oh, I don't remember that, but I remember one of my boys getting himself submitted that way. It was an ACL thing, but it was. I'll put it to you this way: that night you didn't want to bet on him.
No, yeah.
Remember that?
I can't remember who it was, but we won't name drop.
No, I mean,
you can tell me off camera. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's public information. He knows. But
so first round obviously went to Mayra there.
John Jones, I don't think he's scared of anybody.
Yeah, so let's see. Let's jump to the chat. So Danger says Colby called out Sean. Then Sean said he had to come down to 170. Yeah, it's so funny because Sean's got all the smoke with all the welterweights right now.
Yeah.
Ian Gary, Colby Covington.
Yeah.
And then he also says Tom will take Stipe's heavyweight title defense record. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think Tom Aspinall is young enough. Even if they do make the Jones fight and Jones happens to beat him for some reason, I think he still is going to get the belt back because John's only going to be around for a couple more fights. And I think John is going to – I don't think he's ever going to fight Tom.
You don't?
I don't think so.
I think he is. I think he's going to
fight Stipe.
I think he's going to fight Stipe. He's going to wait about a year, and he's going to fight Tom. He's going to do what he did to Cyril to Tom, and then he's going to retire.
You think?
I think
we lost the
there's
video feed here.
There's very few humans that are anything like John Jones, and that's just the way I see him going. I think he's going to go out there
and do
make
his thing,
it look easy for the last 3 fights of his life are going to be the easiest fights of his life.
And the biggest paydays.
Yeah. Him and Stipe is going to be nuts.
Yeah, that's
and then he should box Jake Paul. Would you watch that?
No. Because I mean, yeah, that would just not even be competitive. Subham Das says Islam fights the winner of Oliveira and Arman. Then what happens to Gaethje? He actually wants to fight Gaethje first. So if you read what he said he wants to fight Gaethje in June, and then he wants to fight the winner of Arman versus Oliveira in November of this year. And then Christopher Guzman, do you think Jones is scared of Tom Aspinall, or is the UFC trying to make him go out on top? Because honestly, Stipe ain't beating Jones. No, I don't think Jones is scared of anybody, and I think Jones can beat anybody, including Tom Aspinall. I just think it's going to be that would be a much more competitive fight than the Stipe fight's going to be. And I think John wants legacy and he wants money, and that's why Nick thinks they're going to actually fight. I'm still not bullish on that, but no, I for sure do not think John is scared of Tom.
No.
And then In Old Way says, who wins, Islam versus Sarukian? At this juncture, Islam. Maybe I'll change my opinion based on how Arman competes with Charles, but Islam with that head kick win against Volk, he's looking like the best 155er in the world right now. And I think that even though Arman has improved quite substantially since the first time that they fought, I know Arman was only 22 years old or 23 years old in that fight. I still think that Islam would beat him. That would be my pick.
Yeah, me too.
Man, this fight is a bit of a snooze fest. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, this one is taking forever. It feels like they slowed the clock down.
Yeah, this is only halfway through the second round here. You guys all awake in the chat?
It's okay. We can, yeah. Y'all drop some chat. Let me know what I should get at Taco Bell when I leave here. You know I'm getting a cheesy gordita crunch or two.
I get like a bean burrito and some of those churro straws.
See,
that's a good order there.
That's a mid order.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how to order at Taco Bell.
Okay, Raquel's picking up the pace a little bit, landing some shots.
You don't
there.
do. Hey,
there we go. All right, now we got some excitement.
It looks like Bueno Silva's going to cry again.
Yeah, I think win or lose, we're going to get some tears out of Bueno Silva.
It looks like one more elbow to the face, she's going to start crying.
Yeah, Raquel is landing some nice shots, but most of this fight has taken place up against the cage.
Yeah.
So who do you have winning this round?
Raquel.
Do we lose the feed?
No, I was talking about the fight.
I guess Raquel.
Yeah, she's definitely
for some
landed the
reason. This
shots.
ain't doing it for me.
Yeah, no, this is not.
All right, wait.
Round 3,
significant head strikes, 31-3. So you tell me, Pennington's definitely winning this. Oh,
yeah. So Bueno Silva, I think, won the first round. Pennington winning round number 2. So
yeah. Hey, yeah. So Gaethje, but it's so weird because you got Islam and Gaethje wanting to fight each other, but now Islam or Gaethje and Holloway are fighting, and now they're saying Sarukian and Arman or Sarukian and Oliveira is the number 1 contender match, and Islam's the champ. But we got a submission attempt.
Rear naked choke here by attempt
40
by Bueno
seconds.
Silva. She's on the back.
It doesn't look like she's under the chin.
Yeah, she's cranking the chin, but it's not under.
Now she's let it go.
Switching the grip here.
She's got a modified body triangle. It's kind of off to the side a little bit.
But to me, this submission attempt here doesn't skew the round. I mean, especially with the strikes landed for Pennington.
If Raquel would have taken one step over, she could have gotten her off the side because she was already leaning over and kind of using the wall to support herself. All right. So I'm pretty sure the first round went to Bueno, and I'm pretty sure the second round.
Yeah. Even with the submission attempt, that wasn't deep enough or threatening enough to skew the round, in my opinion. So I have it 1-1 right now. So Christopher Guzman, who is both of your GOATs in the UFC? Man, it's so hard. It's like I want to say John, but it's some of the.
Yeah, we're talking about performance enhancing GOATs or people that we're pretty sure were clean, because there's two different people.
If it's
and
GSP for me, if it's has to be
if it has to be clean.
Clean, yeah. Even though he doesn't look like he's
not clean.
Dude, it's Nate Diaz said it.
GSTRT.
Everyone's on steroids is the truest statement ever uttered in the UFC.
Yeah.
It's everybody's on freaking
everybody
something at some point in time. So
if it's
if that considered, then it's got to be John for me.
Yeah, John's the GOAT as far as fighting goes. As far as he hasn't really ever been beaten. He's lost, but he's never been beaten. he beats all the best people at what they do. He's going across the two biggest divisions, which maybe they aren't the most skilled divisions, but at the same time, the consequences are always the heaviest.
Dire, yeah, and to not make a mistake once and get slept is pretty damn impressive.
Like Mighty Mouse, skill for skill is way better than John Jones. He has more skills, but Mighty Mouse could have made 10 mistakes in his fights and still not
got
paid
knocked
for it.
out.
Yeah. And also Mighty Mouse has lost fair and square sometimes, you know.
Yeah. So we got
so I got John Jones is my GOAT. And I know that people say that, you know, out of the ring he's not a great guy or whatever.
You've actually met him.
Personally, yeah, when I met him, I was like, this guy is the man. He's super nice. He was super friendly to me. So I judge people on how they treat me personally if I have the opportunity to meet him. And then on top of that, you can't deny the body of work. I mean, he went through the old generation, his generation, and then the new generation, and now he's still around doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
If he beats Tom Aspinall, there's absolutely no debate.
So
who you got?
Subham says, so Gaethje is fighting Max in April, UFC 300. How will he get back in June to fight Islam? Yeah, you know, I think Islam laid out that schedule before that fight got announced. So that is a good question. And I think because they moved UFC Saudi Arabia off of March because the Saudis wanted better fights on the card than the UFC was delivering, I think they put Islam on that fight card.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think it needs to be a pay-per-view. The Saudis have already shown, I mean, they doled out $1 billion freaking dollars to Cristiano Ronaldo to play soccer there. So if they're like, okay, what did Islam make in pay-per-view points in his last fight? $2 million. Okay, here's that plus another $1 million.
Yeah.
Fight on a fight night. It doesn't have to be a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's literally nothing to them. And so I think they're really pining to have Islam on that Saudi Arabia card. And so it'll be interesting to see Bueno Silva working a kind of a modified guillotine
I
here.
see Raquel's ear still, so it doesn't.
Yeah, she's on the top of the head.
She's on the floor. She's choking the cornrows right
Danger
now.
said he's making coffee, toast, and marmalade here. It's breakfast time.
Marmalade's good. For a second, I thought Vegemite, and I was like, "Don't tell me you
wrong country."
Yeah, that's Australian. Those people, they don't got it right as far as breakfast spreads.
I've never etten that stuff, and I've only ever heard bad things, except from people that aren't Australian.
It tastes awful.
That's a biased opinion. So
it tastes awful.
Jules wants DC to shh. I can't hear what he's saying because I don't want it to, come through the microphones and be kind of an unpleasant listening experience for you guys. So I have the volume very low.
I can't give him too much crap though because Steven's like the John Anik over here. He's got all buttoned up. He's always setting the table, and then he asks me a question, and I'm just here for the color. And oftentimes I feel like I'm either a version of DC or a version of Stone Joe Rogan, where I'm out here just giving my thoughts and kind of telling you how I see it, calling it how I see it, if you will. It's pretty fun though.
I try my best. I feel like it's a good dynamic.
Yeah, you have to be able to have both. Like nobody wants to hear two Dominic Cruzes.
No, that would just be a never-ending analytical nightmare
argument. Yeah, but if you had just DC and DC up there, it'd be hard.
JD says he saw John Jones lose in person here in Houston.
Yeah, we did see that, and that crowd was pro John going in and pro Dominic Reyes
going out.
Yeah.
Boy, talk about fighters that have fallen off. Dominic Reyes, he just can't get it together at this point.
And that one, I think he made it to the top of the mountain and really did think he won that fight. Didn't get his hand raised, and he's like, man, what? The universe just has it out for me or something? What's up, I get it. I get all the way there, and then I get robbed, which, the fight was close. I'd like to go back and watch it because watching it live, obviously, I was swayed a little bit by the crowd.
And you have to factor in when there's a fight like that if somebody's such a big underdog and they do well, sometimes you think that because they did better than you thought that they won. So you have to be careful to wipe the slate clean and just forget this is the greatest light heavyweight of all time versus a massive underdog. Just look at the fight and say the person A, person B, who won the fight.
Right.
Because sometimes you can get roped into it. We're all a little bit guilty of that.
Right.
Jules said DC was saying Raquel should slow the fight down. I don't know why he would say that because she seems to be having more success when it's kind of explosive and they're just standing and throwing.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't get any slower either.
JD wants to know: did y'all's Doc's TV freeze again, or have these chicks been in the clinch the whole fight?
Yeah,
I don't
pretty
know.
much. They did a little clinching on the ground, clinching up against the wall, clinching in the open, and
in old ways says John Jones' fight IQ is on another level, and that's what it takes in MMA. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. John is, I mean, the way he dismantled Cyril, that was just so surgical, so beautiful. And
you know what was entertaining was watching that short clip of him and Gordon Ryan grappling.
Yeah,
because I mean,
Gordon Ryan's the best grappler and the best submission grappler of all time.
Yeah. And he's playing by Gordon's rules in that situation.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people are like, man, jiu-jitsu is the premier martial art if you have to learn one to defend yourself. And it's like, okay, I'm here for that argument, no problem. And Gordon Ryan's the greatest grappler that the world has ever seen. But there was only one alpha dog in that situation, in that video.
Yeah.
And if they got into a fight, a real unarmed combat competition, Gordon Ryan knows as well as anybody that he doesn't stand a chance against a guy like John Jones. And it's cool to see those kind of minds meet. And John, rolling with him, and looks like he's not missing a beat. Looks like he's threatening things on Gordon, and then Gordon's threatening things on him, and he's got answers for him. It was really cool.
Yeah.
John's high level everywhere. Okay,
Raquel
now we got a little slugfest going
four.
on. They're standing right on the monster cannon. They're going. Hands down and everything.
Nice kick there by Raquel.
Hands down, chin up.
Yeah, this is
mouth open. Man,
yeah,
just
back
throwing
to the
same
clinch,
things back and forth.
Do we lose it again?
We're gonna temporarily lose you guys for a second. Just stay with us. We're right here. Give us just 1 second. Give it like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we should be back in business, y'all. Sorry about that. It's hard when you're filming something for this extended period of time. 3 hours was as long as the last one was. The camera tends to get a little bit hot, and maybe we need to buy one of those battery coolers. I feel like they have those where you can keep it cool. Yeah. Sorry, guys. We're back on. According to our end, we're back on. Drop it in the chat. Let us know if we're back on y'all's end, but it looks like everything's good. Steven will be right back, and Raquel and Bueno are still doing the same thing. Not the most entertaining fight in the world, but, there's a lot on the line. One of them is going to become a world champion, and sometimes you don't have to make it look pretty. You just have to make it work. And I think it's a pretty, I'll give it to them. It's a pretty evenly matched fight. I think the matchmakers knew what they were doing when they made this, because they're both in the top 3. One's ranked 2, one's ranked 3. So pretty even. And their fighting styles, though very different, match up to be pretty equal. So styles make matchups, and this one's not the most exciting, but again, there's a lot on the line. So high stakes usually makes it a very calculated, slower pace game. All right, we got Bueno Silva. She's trying to take the back. She's got one hook in, and she's got the rear naked grip. And it looks like she might be under the chin. She's also got 2.5 minutes to work. So Raquel is not defending it the way. Okay, she's got her off on the side now, and she's free. So it looked like it would be a bad threat there, but Raquel didn't show any signs of worry. Was able to shuck her off, get her right onto the side, and now she is actually on top of Bueno Silva up against the cage.
Looks like Bueno Silva's working a Kimura here.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
But she's not in the right position for it.
Yeah.
Again, like with the Mike Malott fight, you got to go position over submission. We're round 4, just under 2 minutes left in the round. My phone dies, so I'm gonna have to take that charger whenever you get a little charge.
Yeah, I'm good. 80%.
Yeah, I think it's fast.
That's lightning fast.
Do you want it over there?
Yeah, I'll move it over.
All right, we got an armbar attempt out of Buenos Aires. Which would you rather see? Prime BJ Penn versus Poirier or Prime Silva versus Whitaker? Ooh, that's a good question. See, you guys are bringing heat with the questions tonight. I like that. I'd go Prime Anderson Silva versus Prime Whitaker.
Yeah.
But the other one would be fun too. But I just think Dustin Poirier is so good even in this generation.
I'd rather see Prime Silva versus Prime Izzy.
I'd rather see BJ Penn right now.
Yeah.
You would. All you got to do is go online.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Anderson Silva back then.
Oh wow, Bueno Silva working a triangle.
Yeah. Raquel did the right thing, got her posture up. But man, Anderson Silva will always be on my Mount Rushmore. He's always going to be one of my top 3, top 5 guys. He's just so good. And Robert Whitaker, obviously, is like the gatekeeper of all gatekeepers. And 185 would just not be the same if it weren't for Robert Whitaker. And honestly, he would have had maybe if Israel Adesanya didn't exist.
Yeah, Robert Whitaker, Hall of Fame.
Oh, he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no doubt.
But if Izzy didn't exist, we likely wouldn't have Alex Pereira in the UFC, which means Robert Whitaker could have very well had like the longest run.
Yeah, and
I mean, imagine how many fights he's won if they were all title defenses because Izzy didn't exist.
Yeah, it's a good point.
The only person he was losing to until Dricus beat him was Izzy. So that's mine. How about yours? BJ versus Ferguson. Oh, I'd like to see that one now. I think bare knuckle, game bred bare knuckle could put that thing on. Game bred. Tony Ferguson's fallen on hard times, but he's still dropping guys like Paddy Pimblett, dropping guys like Bobby Green. And even though he's 0 for 7 in his last 7, there's still something about
dangerous that I meant now. That would be that would be the fight now.
There's somebody that would sanction.
I think Ferguson smokes BJ Penn right now. Honestly.
Yeah. BJ is he's just not built for it anymore. He's way out of there.
Fun fact for BJ Penn, his first name is JD, spelled Jaydee.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So going into the championship round here,
his name is JD and he goes by BJ.
Yeah, interesting. I'll never forget when I saw BJ Penn when we went out. The first UFC live event that we ever went to, coincidentally, your birthday's coming up. It was for your birthday a while back when Nick Diaz fought Anderson Silva in Vegas. And at about 4 o'clock in the morning, BJ Penn was being carried into the
I missed that
casino, drunk as a skunk. So
I was asleep.
Tony Ferguson versus Pennington.
Hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Uh-oh. He'll throw a little sand in her eye and then knock her spark out. All right, we got Pennington pressing the action. She's got her up against the cage, and Bueno Silva looks a little bit gassed, a little bit tired.
She's a little tired.
And
her coach tried to inject some energy into her in this last round. This is
all right. Pennington landed on
good shots by Pennington there.
Not afraid to throw a little elbow in the clinch.
Back to the clinch again. Yeah, that's where Pennington's having.
I've got Pennington winning right now, but it's been 2 rounds to 2, but she's winning this round. So I think we might see a split decision victory for Raquel Pennington. 3 rounds to 2, though, is what I see this fight doing. If it continues to go this way.
Raquel's taking full mount here.
Full mount.
She's not on the the cage is her worst enemy for an arm triangle here.
Yeah, but all I would do is just chill right here if I was her.
Yeah, she's looking to pass that elbow over.
Yeah.
I don't think she'll dismount. She doesn't have the real estate to do it.
Okay, so she's just holding on. She's not really. Oh,
is that a tap?
No, it wasn't a tap, but she looks like she's ready for it.
Thumbs up.
She just gave the thumbs up. So Bueno Silva is in deep water right now. She is fully mounted. Now just moved into half guard, but still
back to full mount. But to get that full pressure on the rear neck or on the head and arm triangle, excuse me, you do need to dismount and get to the other side. Unless your name is Islam Makhachev, and then you can just finish it from that position. But I don't see Raquel finishing it from here. She will have to dismount at some point and scoot down a little bit to get that shoulder pressure on the neck.
Optimus Prime all day, Avi. And Pakra. Hi. Thanks for coming to hang out, man.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
And I think that
says
Raquel's
no chance Pennington submits from this. Yeah, I agree. She's got to dismount in order to get the submission here. And the cage is not going to allow her to do so.
Yeah.
But I think she's just going to be content staying right here and working her ground game.
Yeah, this is not
threatening the
Silva,
submission.
you cannot just be chilling here.
Yeah, you got to be exploding out. Okay, now Raquel has moved into a little bit better position for this head and arm triangle.
But if you're Raquel, are you jumping out a mount right here to shoot for this?
If it gets deep enough, I would. But she actually looks like she's trying to transition to the back.
Yeah, that's what I would like. If she peels her up and sits back on her left hip, then she can actually pull the back and then get to the body triangle pretty easily, and keep that grip the whole time.
So look at the control time. If you look, Bueno Silva clearly minutes of control, more than half the round in the first 2 rounds, and then it's all Pennington from there. So I think this is going to be 2 rounds to 3.
But remember, round two, even though she had all that control time, was 31-3. Pennington strikes.
Yeah. So it could be 4 rounds to 1 actually for Pennington.
Yeah. I think it's still going to be 3 rounds too, because it feels like a competitive match. But
Danger said we need a fast forward button for this fight. I agree, man.
Me too. That energy drink I had ain't doing it.
Yeah, the Black Rifle, 7 grams of protein, 170 calories,
200 mgs.
You need 400 milligrams of caffeine for this one.
That's right.
Yeah, this has not been the most exciting fight.
No,
but we did see a late ground and pound stoppage in the last fight. Could we see the same thing here?
And guys, we got a real good one ahead of us.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Yeah, stick with us for the main event, guys. I don't know who's going to win. Nick and I were split on our predictions, but one thing I can guarantee you is that fight will be damn exciting for however long it lasts.
Yeah. What do y'all think? I mean, I know how some of you guys are going with the main event. Is Sean Strickland keeping the belt and new and still? Is it going to touch down in South Africa?
As soon as this fight's over, we'll have Chris put the poll up.
Bueno Silva does not deserve a title if she's going to lay there on the ground like that.
No,
that's
ridiculous.
Really what you want to do for the last round of your fight
for your first ever UFC title shot? I don't understand it. And Raquel's doing her thing.
Raquel belongs. The belt belongs to Raquel. If she doesn't get the belt here, this is lame.
I think Juliana Pena is gonna defeat Raquel anyways, but. She certainly deserves it here. Yeah, that was not
I wouldn't help her up.
A good final showing from Bueno Silva.
No. She gassed out bad.
So, yeah, Raquel Pennington, world champion. I did not think I would be saying that.
Ever.
Yeah, no, but here we are.
What a time to be alive.
So, here we go.
So, who's that? Oh, that's
Amanda, yeah.
Rocky.
And Tisha, yeah.
Oh, and Pantoja looks like one of them.
Yeah.
So, the facial expressions are showing it all. Bueno Silva looks like she just lost. Raquel looks like she just won. Wow. Talk about somebody that's just been sticking through it.
Yeah,
Raquel's been in the game, man. Ever since they started the UFC, she's been in the women's in the UFC. She's been around. And, highs and lows, she's probably seen them all. But, man, she found herself in a title fight and seized the moment. In my opinion, the belt belongs to her.
Yeah, Raquel, it would be a robbery if they were to give it to Mayra.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, she's a dog. And, she seems to have broken the 35 curse.
Yeah.
She's one of the very, very few. Maybe that doesn't apply to women. You would think it would apply more. I would have thought that it would apply more to women than men. The over 35 curse, but
yeah. Well, the women's sport has developed a lot lately, and women's MMA is kind of moving at its own pace and down its own road. So you never really know. Some of these girls that got exposed to it later in life, they got good. They got really good after a decade of training, and they started when they were 25 or whatever.
All right. Danger Mouse stolen from somewhere.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah. I'll read these.
Sorry, Danger. 49-46. So 49-45 on one. Raquel, it's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's a vacant belt, so that neither one of them know yet.
Yep.
That's the right call.
Yep. Raquel got the belt, y'all. World champion Raquel Pennington.
Yep.
She made it.
So yeah, so 49-46, 49-46, and 49-45. That means that one of the judges scored that last round a 10-8.
Wow. Or one of the rounds.
Yeah. But likely the last one.
Yeah.
So DC interviewing Rocky now. Let's hear what she has to say.
Yeah. She's saying it felt surreal.
Yeah.
Showing
Shouting out the
love.
Canadian crowd.
Dana looks pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, Dana's not too happy.
I think
with
he's
that
hoping
one.
for a good.
DC's just holding up that that champion
Shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got to exchange that for the championship shirt.
She's just thanking her training partners and such. Yeah, DC finally handing the champ shirt to her.
She's handing her the shirt like it's more important than the belt.
Yeah, well,
she's wearing
and
the
now
belt.
she's going to change shirts mid-interview.
Oh my god,
that's a little strange. Yeah,
this is the most boxing I've ever seen.
Let's just jump in the chat real quick.
Yeah, check it out.
So Danger said, stolen from somewhere, but result of the fight, you both lose. The belt deserves a better champion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Dana looks pissed. Unfortunate how the fight went, given what Sean had to say about the women's division yesterday. LOL. Yeah, he certainly wasn't proven wrong by that fight.
Nope. Not the most entertaining fight, but at the end of the day, she had her opportunity.
Yeah.
She seized her moment. So good for her.
Yeah, congrats to her. I mean, she is a dog, man. She's been doing this forever. So, but Mayra to me looked checked out.
Yeah.
By the last round, her coach was trying to inject some energy into her. She didn't seem like she was, conditioned properly for a 5-round fight, and Raquel just she piled it on in the last 3 rounds.
Yeah,
because she lost handedly. Lost handedly the first round, and then the second round is the grappling. Certainly was won by Mayra, but the strikes landed could have skewed the round in the favor of Rocky.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see which judges scored which round for who, and then what round the one judge scored a 10-8. You got to think it was the last round that they scored the 10-8.
Yeah.
Raquel Pennington. Cute
little
daughter.
kid,
Yeah, look at her. Oh, earphones.
Good for them. Good for them.
So yeah, Raquel Pennington, world champion. Not something I thought I'd be saying tonight. Not something I thought I'd be saying ever. But let us move into the main event. We've got the chat poll up. Let's get to the poll here. So
power
7 votes so far. Strickland versus Du Plessis, and still and new. Wow, 86% of the people in the chat so far are saying that Sean Strickland is going to retain his belt. Now, I'm also taking Strickland. I'm a little surprised by that, but I thought it'd be a little bit more down the middle. But we'll see as more votes come in who you guys take.
One of my friends
advertisement for slap fights.
One of my friends at the gym did power slap.
He did?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Andreas
in Dana's league, or a different slap?
Yeah.
Is there are there like multiple slap promotions?
don't
Do you have to
think so.
work your way up the regional slap league to
There's
get
probably
to the,
something over there in like Russia. I bet you they have something like that. But
I've seen like MMA fights where they tie 2 people's hands and let them just punch each other. So
or like 5-on-5.
Yeah, they've got 5-on-5 MMA. They've got it all over there.
But yeah, and he won. And then since he beat that guy's gone on to win like 4 fights.
Yeah.
So he's undefeated. And so they want him to come back.
Can you call them fights or
he's won 5 times?
5
slaps.
contests? Yeah.
And they said they would double his pay if he came back out and fought this guy that's like on a win streak.
Yeah.
Because he wants to get his loss back. But he was like, nah.
Isn't that something? I just can't get behind the power slap. I think it's really just for the social media clips. Like, I feel like who sits down and watches a 2-hour slap fight card? Seriously. Like, I'll
Yeah.
watch the knockout highlights on TikTok because they're like,
Mhm.
it's like a train wreck. You can't not look
Yeah.
at somebody getting slapped to sleep. But I don't
Yeah,
I don't see what Dana's like end game is with. I don't even know if he knows what his end game is with that. I think it's just like a little
I
hobby
think
for him.
everybody talks about how people's attention spans have gone to nothing and we need instant gratification. People love knockouts. And I think people are like, okay, there's not much to figure out here. You don't have to learn techniques
Yeah.
if you're watching it. So let's watch knockouts. Let's watch people slap each other in the face, just unblocked, unfazed, and see what happens. And I think there is some viral ability to it, but it's only viral when somebody gets slapped in the face, in my opinion, when the other person doesn't know it's coming.
Right.
But
Yeah.
when you know it's coming, it kind of takes it away. Like, don't make it a sport.
You have to stand
Yeah.
there and get slapped in the face.
Yeah.
It's like how dumb could you possibly be?
If you want to go viral,
Competitors where nobody knows when they're gonna get
Yeah.
slapped. They're just out in public and
yeah.
Danger said there isn't enough alcohol in the world to persuade me to watch a full power slap show. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah. I would not go see that.
And it's so funny because you see all of Dana's, like, he's friends with all of the TikTokers, and he's, that's kind of been something that is important to him, is to be in with the cool young crowd,
Yeah.
and so they all come and they're like, man, this power slap card is like stacked, and I can't wait to see so-and-so versus so-and-so. This guy's got the heaviest slap I've ever seen. Like, they're hyping it up like it's Strickland versus Du Plessis, but it's like two fat guys that are going to slap each other in the face.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and even like they try to film them like training, and it's like, what are you
How do
really
you train
doing?
for that?
Yeah, they like one of them's like,
hand squeeze.
yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like slapping a heavy bag. They asked my friend, they were like, so how have you been training for fight week or slap week? And he's like, man, I went to the dispensary and I've just been kind of chilling at my hotel.
yeah, I mean,
And
what
he's
more
like,
is there to say?
yeah.
Yeah, you might as well be stoned out of your mind if
Yeah.
you're going to slap, and get
I'm
slapped.
doing some precautionary medication.
Yeah, the CTE that I'm going to absorb, hopefully some of the cannabis will offset that. But
Like put Vaseline on the face, they like put it on their hands before they go.
Yeah.
how much would they pay the Diaz boys to do the slap league?
Slap each other?
The super slap Diaz brothers. Yeah.
Stockton slap.
Yeah. That's the only acceptable slap in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rick six.
Dricus Du Plessis. Dricus. So talking about this main event, I feel like Sean is so much more refined with his striking, especially his boxing in range. But Dricus is so hard to time because his style is so unorthodox, but it's damn effective.
Mhm.
And I think Dricus's chances are going to be to kind of lull Sean in, because Sean does fight with his hands down a lot, to come into range and then throw some off-time combinations to try to get Sean to zig when he's supposed to zag and catch him with the KO power. I don't see Dricus winning a decision. I think a lot of people think also that Du Plessis is the superior grappler. And while I do think that he's better as far as submissions are concerned, I think a lot of people underestimate how good Sean is with his wrestling defense. And, Sean is also a jiu-jitsu black belt, and he trains with some very high level grapplers. So it's going to be easier said than done to take Sean down, hold him there, and then even on top of that, work a submission.
Yeah.
So what are your initial thoughts? I know you're picking Du Plessis to win this fight, but how does he win it?
Man, and in my heart's with Sean. I like everything about Sean Strickland. I'm a fan. I want to see him continue as the champion, but power punchers seem to find their home with him because he's so willing to engage in a dogfight. He's so willing to stand in front of somebody who can obviously hit really hard and trade with him, and everybody gets touched. Izzy landed a couple things on him. Alex Pereira was able to land that
Big hook, yeah.
big hook. And, in my opinion, Dricus is nowhere near the striker that Alex Pereira is, and he certainly isn't as buttoned up technique-wise, but he throws things from weird angles at weird times, are interesting, and everything about Dricus is just hard to prepare for. And that's why I think this fight is gonna start out a little bit clunky, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We're not gonna know who's really controlling until it settles down a little bit. But until that 7 or 8 minutes goes by, Dricus is going to be a handful. He's really powerful. He's got a ton of energy in the early parts of the fight. Of course, he gasses out because he's so muscle bound. And I just think at some point early on in the fight, he's going to be able to find his home. And Sean's just too willing to Philly shell stand in there. And I'm worried that Sean's going to stand too close for too long and accidentally get caught.
Yeah. Well, that's a good assessment. And I don't think Dricus can win by decision. I do not think that if this fight goes to decision that he will be getting his hand raised. So if he is to win, I think it's going to be by knockout. Now, here's the question, because you're predicting Dricus to win, and I think you're predicting him to win by finish. If he knocks out Sean, turns around and goes to UFC 300 and is able to defeat Izzy, do we have the next superstar on our hands in Dricus Du Plessis? He certainly comes with a massive fan base. And I found that out the hard way by predicting against him. Just go read the comments on our prediction video. He has a rabid fan base.
And I think South Africa has been wanting to be represented in the UFC for a long time. They finally got it. And then it didn't take very long. This 6 fights into the UFC career, and he's already fighting for a title, and he's making a lot of noise. He hasn't really had to do that much to get his name in the headlines because, he had some stuff with Izzy. He had some stuff with Strickland, and now he's found himself in the spot that he's always dreamed of being. I think that Dricus he seems to have the understanding of what a star needs to be, and
he's a well-spoken fella. He dresses well,
looks great.
Now, this guy Morin Visser, his coach, I didn't know much about him, obviously because he doesn't have a whole lot of fighters in the UFC at present moment, but I think that is going to change.
Really,
he seems to be a no-nonsense, very buttoned-up coach. I was watching the UFC Countdown, and he was saying, for me to even, and he runs a tight ship. He does not play around with his camp.
Mm-hmm.
And they're up in the mountains. They're, I think, 4,000 or 5,000 feet of elevation. He works them hard every day. And he said, for me to even consider calling the UFC and putting your name in the matchmaker's ears, you need to show me a belt in the local promotion here. He's like, I'm not wasting your chance on making a run in the UFC until I know you're ready for it. Why would you think that you're ready to be competing at the world's most premier stage if you can't become a champion in what the local promotion has to offer?
Yeah.
And he said, so you got to be showing up, you got to be giving it your all, and you got to show me a belt in the local promotion, and then I'll call the matchmakers, because we're doing your career the right way. You're not going to go up to the biggest league in the world and embarrass yourself. And that's
cool.
I think that's a pretty interesting take on things. And so I'm kind of a fan of his after watching that.
Yeah, I like it. I'm sure if he's able to get a champion, his stock will go up as a coach for sure. Without a doubt. Guys, Dricus has officially entered the octagon. Looks like $1 million. Doesn't seem to be fazed by the moment. Doesn't seem to be nervous. Maybe he's got a good poker face, but to me, it does seem like he's got ice running through his veins, seizing the moment, doesn't really feel it. Still Knox is in the building. Sean Strickland is about to make his walk. The lights have gone, and here we go. Hope you guys are enjoying it. This has been a lot of fun for me, and the main event is obviously what we all came here for, so y'all stick around, drop some comments, and let's talk about this thing. He's walking out to that same song he walked out to last time, the Ants Go Marching type of thing. I'm not sure if there's an actual song, but it's
they mix it up with the Dave Matthews song.
Yeah, Ants Marching, yeah. Dave Matthews' version of Ants Marching is not really one you'd probably want to walk out to for a fight, but Dave Matthews is a legend. And fun fact, he's South African.
Yeah.
So there's no way Sean would walk out to that. Yeah, Sean looks like he's there for business, He's that stone-faced killer right now. No shirt on under his hoodie. He just, he's doing his trademark, punching himself in the head a couple of times and just getting ready. Slow walk. Letting the music fester. Letting everybody's anticipation just rise. Man, there he is.
Sounds like that song called The Animals Went 2 by 2.
Oh, the Animals went 2 by 2?
That's what Danger Mouse is saying.
Okay, the Animals went 2 by 2. Danger said it. That's what it is. So maybe it's like a religious thing,
Maybe.
Noah's Ark or something. I don't really know. But yeah, ice running through his veins. He looks like a man on a mission to handle some business.
Sean looks better in the look at him with the championship shorts on too. He
Yeah, he looked great.
after that Izzy win, I think, this is a different Sean Strickland than the guy leading into that fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think he believes that he's the best in the world right now.
I believe he thinks he's the best in the world, but I also don't think he's letting it get to his head.
No.
I don't think he knows how hard it took, how much work and how hard it was for him to get there. And I don't think he's letting any of that go. I don't think he's let up on his training one bit. I think
he looks physically like
Yeah.
just optics wise better than he's ever looked.
talk about a champ that gets the belt and then gets right back to work.
Yeah.
Most people like to take 6 months, go handle this, that, and the other thing.
And he didn't want to fight in Canada. He didn't want to fight this soon, but he's like, you know what? I'm a fighter, and when you call me for a
Let's
fight,
go.
I'm showing up. So got to respect that out of Sean.
Mm-hmm.
We got 28 in the chat, guys.
go,
Thank
y'all.
you guys all for joining. So let's see here. Jules says, talking about slap, can't pay athletes who respect their body enough to do slap fighting. I kind of agree with that. It's the animals went in 2-by-2 from
That's the
danger.
song,
Ants
yeah.
go marching. Yeah. Zaid Mohammed, hello from South Africa. Hello, my friend. Thank you for joining the live.
Thanks for joining. Who do you think's going to win?
Yeah. Danger says Sean has the benefit of not losing many, if any, fans if he loses.
Yeah.
And Saeed, South Africa, dropping the flag. So, yeah, let's enjoy this main event, guys.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. So 32 versus 30 years old, 6'1" both weighed in under the championship weight.
I'm
limit.
really surprised Dricus was a pound under. He's a big fella to
Sometimes
make that
you just
weight.
overshoot it.
Yeah.
They do it. Maybe he shot a little bit extra low, and
Height's identical, weight's identical.
reach is
Yeah.
identical.
Yeah, it's
We got another question.
Oh, let me get.
We got another question.
Who do you guys
Hey, from Utah.
got
Thanks-
winning?
thanks for
Want to
coming
say
in.
hi? Yeah, thank you for joining. Welcome.
Appreciate you.
We were complaining about it being cold here in Houston, but I think you definitely have us beat. So in the chat, we got 56 for Strickland and 44 for Du Plessis. My prediction is Sean Strickland. I think that he's going to have to be very careful early in the fight because Dricus's timing is a little bit difficult to figure out, and it's a little bit unorthodox. However, I think he's going to be able to stay safe in the first couple of rounds, get his rhythm and timing down, and then I believe he's the superior technician, and I think he's going to take over. I think he's going to win a decision victory.
Yeah, that's a great call. And I do think that if this thing goes all 5 rounds, you're going to be squarely right. I don't think still Knox wins this fight if it goes to decision. But something tells me that these guys are going to go out there. They're going to give the fans what they want. They're going to turn it back up to 11. They know the co-main event went all 5 rounds. I don't see this one going all 5 rounds. I think they're going to go in there willing to engage. It's going to be weird at the first, touch, at the first few exchanges. And I think this thing's going to be done before 3 rounds are over.
Okay.
I got DDP.
We're split on this one, and the chat split too. We're actually Strickland's coming on strong now. 18 votes.
Yep.
61% Strickland, 39% Dricus Du Plessis.
Yeah. I think
Zaid,
it'll be
8 a.m. in
TKO.
South Africa. You guys are troopers, man. Waking up early, or either that or staying. Did you wake up early for this, or did you stay up all night watching? Danger says Sean looks dialed in. Yeah, I agree. Sean looks
good.
dialed, but so does DDP.
DDP does not look phased.
He does not look like a guy that's being swallowed up by this moment.
No. He looks good, man.
Yeah. Still knocks.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a pick 'em fight, -110 to -110, right down the middle. He still, Dricus always looks good, but he looks even better than he's looked before, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's in great shape.
He's going to be a lot to handle early. I think we're going to learn a lot when this fight starts. Guy's in a straight up
that guy
Speedo.
is straight up in a Speedo.
And,
oh man,
that's bizarre. It's in. Is he walking home in Toronto like that?
He ain't built for a Speedo either. Body wise or nothing.
Strickland, yeah, he's
dialed.
Both of these guys are dialed. This we always talk about big fight feel. You know it when you see it. And sometimes you get a main event for a pay-per-view and you're like, man, I'm excited because I'm a fan. I watch every fight, but I don't feel that, my hands sweat a little bit like it. This is big fight feel. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all Strickland because Du Plessis hasn't done enough in the sport for a lot of people, for them to really be like, oh, he's the one that gets me going.
Yeah.
In a short amount
He's got
of time,
a massive local following. The South
Yeah,
Africans
of
love DDP.
but up here in America, Sean Strickland went from somebody the casuals don't know to the world champion to somebody everybody loves.
Sorry, guys, we got a little
And-
technical difficulty with the stream here.
No, it's good. It's all back. Yeah, Sean Strickland became a megastar overnight. Now, you probably think, who's the most famous Sean on the UFC's roster? A lot of people might think O'Malley, but no, I think Sean Strickland takes the cake.
Yeah, especially if he wins tonight.
Yeah.
He's definitely the people's champ, as it were.
Let's go, baby.
Here we
Now
go.
this one feels good.
You
Yeah.
got Mike Goddard in there. Let's see what happens.
All right. They both went in and tried to take the center of the octagon.
Both of them said they're coming forward all fight. So this will not be like Strickland versus Adesanya. Strickland working the jab there.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about Strickland having to kind of get and ascertain the timing of Du Plessis, but Strickland's got some off timing himself, and he's going to be hard for Dricus to time as well. This is going to be a very high level match.
Yeah, and one thing about Dricus is he
nice
tends
jab
to,
there by Sean.
Yeah, Dricus tends to throw some big things, which might leave him off balance, but he's not really at that much risk with Sean, because Sean's not the kind of guy that smells blood in the water and then immediately attacks and pounces on you.
That's right.
He kind of lets you, if you kind of stumble a little bit, he'll just let you regather your composure, and then he just keeps that steady pressure.
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting.
Sean's landing some really nice jabs.
Yeah.
His jab is finding a home, and he's landed a couple of nice low kicks as well.
He's also doing that back leg push kick, and he's landed it pretty clean on the body. Now, Dricus is a big-bodied guy for 185, and he doesn't stand very bladed. He's kind of got his chest centered. And when you're bladed too much, obviously you're too turned sideways and you can't defend well enough. And obviously your back is too close for somebody to get to. And that's why fighters don't stand like a lot of boxers. They stand more, squared off. But at the same time, if you stand too square, it leaves the center of your body wide open. And the squared stance is more what you'll see in a Muay Thai stance. So these guys, Sean Strickland stands more like an MMA fighter. Dricus is standing a little bit closer to that Muay Thai stance, where his stomach is kind of facing Sean Strickland. And to me, it's not the style preference that I would choose, but to each their own. If he likes to stand in a Muay Thai stance, and stand like it. If it works for you, which it clearly has since so far, I mean, just keep doing it.
So we're 2 minutes into the round. I think Sean has found his range a little bit better than DDP. DDP has thrown some big shots and a couple of nice kicks. That was a good body kick there by DDP. But Sean seems to have found his range with that jab. He's landed a couple of very nice, very crisp jabs to the face.
Yeah, Sean looks composed, and he
Dricus switching stances a lot, which I wasn't necessarily expecting. Dricus is looking for that high kick. He's thrown that a few times now.
But as we anticipated, Dricus is gonna throw high intensity, aggressive stuff, which is going to zap his gas tank.
Yep.
And sometimes he gets a little off balance, and recentering your body when you've got all that muscle can actually be pretty taxing. And man, if he keeps this kind of pace while Sean's punching him, he's not going to last for 25 minutes.
The one thing Sean does that makes me a little bit concerned is he leans back a little bit when the shots are coming in. And sometimes you can lean yourself right into a power too, and that'll be all she wrote.
Yeah, well, or Dricus, who does unorthodox things and does things kind of weird, might have something that is like an Inspector Gadget type of thing, where it shoots out further than you anticipated. And if all you did was pull your head backwards, you might not have cleared enough distance to get out of the way of the strike.
Yeah, you might have actually put yourself right in range for the worst part of the strike.
Okay.
Dricus looking for okay, so let's see what Sean's,
it was a great entry on a double.
Yep.
He got
stuck
the
hips up off the that was a beautiful takedown by Dricus there.
Once he got his hands wrapped, it was right under the butt, and somebody like him who's got the submissions he's got, if they can get the fight to the ground.
Let's see what Sean does here. So Sean gets up pretty easily.
Up use the cage to get himself back to his feet. Right now, Dricus is looking to take the back. Okay, he just let him up.
Yeah, so
see that's something. Dricus was smart. That was going to be a pretty taxing endeavor for him to get into, and I don't think it was worth it. You got 50 seconds or so to work. You're not going to submit somebody like Sean Strickland in that short of time. So just let him up and, know that you've got that takedown in your back pocket. If you shoot the same way you did that time, again, there's a good chance you can get it.
Dricus is looking for a big overhand here too. He's thrown it a couple of times, but hasn't quite found the range yet. But, also we saw a lot there with Sean because he was able to get back up without expending a lot of energy.
Yeah.
We know Sean's a cardio machine, but that was a nice little kick.
He does that
top.
question mark kick. He's not as clean as Luke Rockhold with it, but it seems to have a whole heck of a lot of power. And, that shot, there's a lot more to it, right? You have to understand what these guys are thinking and what their coaches have game plan for them.
That was a nice shot straight there by Sean Strickland. Dricus trying to retaliate.
If you hit Dricus, he's coming back crazy.
Yeah, that you already know that. So he's going to immediately try to get one back on you.
So and that's great, but it can also lead to some awful counters and setups. But that takedown, in my opinion, after watching how he fought the first round and what he was trying to set up, which was high kicks and overhands.
Yeah.
That threat of the takedown and getting it was big for him because if he's able to get Sean thinking and looking to defend takedowns, that overhand, that question mark kick, stuff like that will open up more.
Just think Conor Khabib when Conor dropped his hands and Khabib threw that overhand off over the top.
So you have to think about the mindset of a coach, the mindset of a fighter. They've game planned for this. And the fact that they're like, look, go out there and throw some things, low, high, low, whatever, but then hit your takedown.
Yeah.
He has to worry about all three levels. And the fact that he did that speaks volumes. That's a good round for DDP, and I don't even know if he won the round.
Strickland won the round, but it was it was a good round for both guys.
A good close round.
But I definitely gave that round to Strickland. Drop a comment, guys, in the live chat. Who do y'all think won the first round?
Draw for round one.
Round one, Sean Danger. Round one, draw. Zaid.
It might be a split. There's no way it's a.
It wouldn't be a 9-9 round, but it I think that one favored Sean. Maybe it was split, but I still think the majority of the judges gave that one to Sean. The jab did the work there.
Mm-hmm.
Dricus, he's looking for those big shots over the top.
Yeah.
He sets it up with a kick. That's what we talk about. Dricus is, timing and his shot selection that's strange. He starts a combination like that with a low kick and then goes two up top. So you almost don't see that. You see a lot of people finish combinations with a kick or throw a kick mid combination, but to start with a low kick and then kind of go two overhands, that's a spin. Yeah, I saw him, working with his coach, that spinning back fist. He likes that spinning back fist a lot.
Yeah, but that one you gotta have your opponent moving in the direction of where the spinning attack is coming.
Yeah.
And if you do it and they're just standing straight in front of you, it generally comes off just like a hook with the backside of your hand. So you need to walk them into it. And it's much easier said than done. But if that's the way he likes to do it, it's all good.
That may have been a weird thing on his. I think that was a weird foot thing with Dricus more so than the shot hurting him.
And if you notice what Dricus is doing right now, he's playing a jab game with Sean. They're trying to figure each other out with their hands. Beautiful jabs by Sean Strickland, by the way, y'all. But what he's doing is he's trying to jab with him to get their hands going, and then he's trying to read when Sean's going to enter. And when he does that, then he's shelling up in a pretty big full guard shell, and then he's looking for an overhand, either right or left hook to land over the top just on the break. And that's actually probably something that will work for him in a lot of situations because he's got that crazy power. It seems like he's got pretty long arms for the division. And if he gets them in the range where they think they're close and all they do is take one step back, he might be able to catch him. But man, Sean's defense, his composure, his game planning is buttoned up right now.
I want to go back to that weird step that Dricus took. What kept him out of the Izzy fight was a foot injury that he needed to rehab. And that was a weird bit of a stutter step. So I'm kind of interested to see, was that just one of those weird things where he landed funny and, there's nothing more to it than that? Or is he having some sort of issue with his foot that's ongoing even after the rehab?
Yeah, maybe. Or another a re-injury of it. Just because you get something fixed doesn't mean it's all the way better.
Yeah, or they're just not going to re-injure again.
And man, Sean looks real sharp right now. He's letting the fight go.
That was a nice cross check by Sean there. That was beautiful cross check of that will stop some of the leg kicks.
If you ever want to know what'll stop somebody from kicking you in the leg, it's that right there.
Yeah, no, that's incredibly painful if you're the kicker.
You might see, oh wow, 32-9 head strikes for Strickland in favor of Strickland. 6-4 to the body, so it's pretty close there, and even money. Just slightly advantage for leg kicks. For DDP.
From Du Plessis. Yeah,
DDP just looks like he's in there with a guy who has an answer for everything he's throwing.
Yeah, and the big shots that DDP's throwing are not. Well, see that one was probably the closest to landing. He's starting to find it a little bit more, but Sean seems to be aware of these big shots coming over the middle.
The beauty of Sean's defense is insane. His hands are down, and when you throw at him, he rolls in the direction of the punches you're going, and that takes all of the power. Like, okay, so if you're going to throw at a target, and then the target right before you moves out of the way, it takes all of the power off of your shot, because that sweet spot that you were going to land at has now been passed up, and now you're hitting him after you've sort of fallen off, and your balance is off. You've moved beyond where you thought you were going to land the strike, and now your body is overextending, and it's not actually in the place that you want to be. Sean Strickland's hands for his defense, active hands, and his eyes may be the most impressive style of defense for striking that we've seen in a long time.
Beautiful reversal there by Sean, and DDP looked like he took a pretty big breath after that.
DDP's gassed after this round. There's nothing left, and now he's basically taken away DDP's ability to low kick
with that check.
With that check.
Oh, he really wants that spinning back fist,
but
a little blood out of the face of Sean. I think one of those hooks over the top or overhands landed.
I think it was something on the ground.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think it was something on the ground.
So that was a little bit closer of a round. That one could be split as well.
Yeah. DDP looks like he might be a little bit gassed.
I'm gonna do a quick bathroom break in between rounds.
All right. DDP's eye seems to be bothering him a good bit. It's swelling up pretty seriously. He's breathing wildly heavy. Sean looks good, man. Sean looks composed. Sean looks like he knew he was signing up for a 25-minute fight and knew that this guy probably couldn't stand in there and would get cooked if it went the full 25 minutes. Sean is standing up in his corner, not phased at all. They're about halfway across the octagon, just looking. He's just staring DDP down as DDP's sitting on his stool. Absolute gangster. DDP's hyping himself back up, man. DDP loves this stuff. He's a warrior. He's a fighter. He's an absolute dog, but man, he's in a tough fight right now. Sean's got his eyes all beat up, and Sean looks fresh as a daisy. It might be the chest hair, but it might just be the fact that he's not sweating that hard. Yeah. He's not even that sweaty yet. This is what Sean Strickland is best at. Okay, so we've got some more power attempts coming out of DDP.
Danger says everyone says Sean looks easy until you start fighting him. That's so true.
Yeah.
The mastery and the beauty of what he does defensively is so rated because it's so subtle. You know what I mean? It's not anything incredibly flashy, but he just knows how to be in range and not get hit.
Yeah. DDP is literally throwing these Hail Mary shots. And you know what? One of them might land, but at the end of the day, if this is your game plan to go out there and catch somebody at the highest level, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and when you're trying to force the knockout, it doesn't tend to come. Like that hook Pereira landed on Sean was just, unforced. It was beautiful. It was just well timed. He took advantage of the opportunity as it presented itself. DDP seems a little bit like he's trying to force that knockout opportunity.
Yeah. This round so far, it's only 1 minute in, 1 minute, 15 seconds in, but so far is going to DDP because he's bringing the pressure. He's trying his best to engage, but, he's rushing forward kind of with reckless abandon, and Sean's just playing patient. And look,
that eye is really starting to swell for DDP.
Yeah, but this is what you have to watch for. Sean is reading all of this, and pretty soon, one of these times where DDP overextends and lunges in, Sean's going to counter him.
Yeah.
Right now, he's just letting him gas himself out. I really do think that's the game plan right now. He's like, look, he's dangerous even right now. And I think round 3 might be the most dangerous that we see DDP.
Yeah.
Because round 1 and 2, obviously we knew he was going to be explosive. And now after he's felt himself for 10 minutes, he knows good and well that his gas is wearing thin.
Yeah. And I think Sean kind of went into this thinking, if I can even steal 1 or 2 of the first 3 rounds, I can likely win rounds 4 and 5.
Yeah.
You know, ideally 2 of the first 3, and then Sean should be able to.
I've got Sean winning the first 2, and now DDP winning this one.
Yeah, this round's going to Dricus for sure.
Yeah. So this is an interesting layout.
But again,
fights
Sean,
never go how you think they do.
No, that was a nice leg kick there by Dricus.
Mm-hmm.
Nice hook by Sean. And these guys are bringing the fight. Both of these guys are giving us the fight that I think we all kind of expected.
Man, he loves.
Man, he wants that spinning back fist so bad.
He just needs to set it up a little bit differently.
Yeah, and when you show Sean what you want too many times, it's going to become progressively harder to land that shot as you continue to throw it.
Yeah,
I think he's.
You know, we talk all the time about Sean Strickland sparring too much and getting touched too much in the gym. Man, I'll be honest. If this is what his sparring rounds look like in the gym, he doesn't get touched that much.
Yeah, that's
true. It looks like he does a whole lot of touching and doesn't get touched very much.
Yeah.
If you can do this,
you can spar all day long.
You can spar until you're 50. But, you know, if you're getting cracked by people all the time, then that's a different story. Everybody's going to touch some leather every now and again, but man, Sean Strickland's eyes. I can't get over the way he watches his attacker come at him. The way he keeps his eyes open. It takes about, in my experience, it takes about 3 years to truly get used to, maybe 2 years really, if you go every day, to truly get used to being punched in the face and have things flying at your face.
Yeah.
At first, it's human nature to flinch.
Close your eyes and turn away.
Yeah, and not like it. After a couple of years, if you train all the time, you can start to see things coming. And then that's when the decade of hard work comes together. And that's what Sean has. Sean's eyes are, he's got the 10,000 hours worth of vision.
Yeah, 100%. That's so well said, because he's just able, you see so few fighters are able to stay right in the pocket and just make their opponent miss ever so slightly. Because the truth is, in order to be close enough to hit somebody, you have to let them close enough to hit you.
Right.
And Sean is a master at being right in that range and being elusive and then landing on them.
Right.
That was a nice takedown attempt by DDP, and then he went to that short hook at the top.
And I think that's truly what DDP is going to have to look at now. I think his coaches would probably advise him to truly mix up the martial arts here. He sees your takedowns coming. He sees your strikes coming. But if you start chaining them together, he's clearly not afraid to close distance on somebody that's throwing punches at his face.
Yeah.
So you start touching the legs like you're going to go for a takedown and then come back up with one of those heavy hands and then drop back down.
That was a nice shot by Sean at the end there. But I still think that round went to Dricus. So I'm going to say it's 2-1 40 in Sean's favor right now.
Now.
Thank you guys for joining the chat. 42.
I really appreciate it. Y'all drop a comment. Let us know who is winning this fight. Right now, I got it 2-1 for Sean Strickland. I think he won the first 2, and Dricus did enough to get that third round. But
34 votes in the chat. 71% think that Sean's winning this fight. So
I'm seeing it.
Thank you guys for being here. And if y'all are new here, we talk all things MMA. We just recently started going live for most of the fight cards. So join us here. If MMA chat is your thing, we do appreciate a subscribe, a like on this video. And we have a Discord that we're trying to get up and running. Yeah. Our friend Danger Mouse, who's in the chat, set it up for us. So many thanks to him. Yeah. And if you want to just jump in a great group chat of some guys that are just diehards, come on over.
Yeah. And girls.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah,
we got a couple girls over there, and the more you guys help us grow this thing, the better. We just crossed over 5,500 subscribers, which it might not sound like a lot when you talk about people. Mr. B's got 100 billion subscribers or whatever.
He's got more subscribers than there are people on the planet.
Right. To us, 5,500 is mind blowing. So we can't thank you enough. Let's get back into the fights, and guys, just we really appreciate it.
Round 4.
All right,
beautiful.
Great
by
combo.
Sean. Yeah,
great combo by Sean. DDP.
DDP is going to get a little bit, I think he's going to start taking some chances here. I think Sean is up 2 rounds to 1.
Yeah, and that's the general consensus over here. Everybody sees it so
this
far.
This person has 29,
28 for Du Plessis.
No, I don't think so.
Nah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
A
lot of people actually have Dricus up. That's interesting.
There's no way he won that first round just from that one takedown.
Yeah, no, the first round went to Sean for sure. I guess the second round, some people are saying went to Dricus, but I do have it 2-1 for Strickland right now. Curious to know what y'all think. What do you guys have it as? Is it 2-1 Dricus or is it 2-1 Sean?
Sean winning. DDP
Jules saying Sean winning. Yeah, I think Sean. I've got Sean up 2-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean it's a close fight. Don't get me wrong.
Very, very much. And this, the judges, you never know in Canada what they're gonna.
Oh, great hook.
Great shot.
Also
there.
a great kick afterwards.
This is a good fight.
Yeah.
Dricus really
Styles
looking
make matchup.
for that
Oh,
big
okay.
fight.
So Sean is starting to sit in the pocket a little bit on these entries that DDP is showing him, and he's throwing things over the top. If Sean starts looking for some uppercuts, I think he might find some success. Because DDP is lunging and his chin's the first thing. So instead of waiting for a hook to go over the top, if Sean starts, sitting in the pocket and then throwing something up the middle, I think he could find DDP's chin pretty well. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, an uppercut up the middle because DDP is kind of ducking his head. Let's see like that, a little bit faking the takedowns and then throwing those shots over the top. If Sean can get that timing on that, then he'll probably have some success with those uppercuts up the middle.
Yeah, and DDP has his arms a little bit winged out. You can see his elbows are a little bit wide when he enters. Oh,
beautiful duck under by Sean.
Beautiful head movement.
See, Sean's showing us
great
a little bit,
takedown.
Yeah, nice takedown.
DDP,
by DDP
just
there.
landed a beautiful trip.
Sean is proving his takedown defense is as good as advertised, or as good as a lot of us thought that it probably was.
Thanks. Jules' stream died. She's just listening now.
Oh no!
All right, Jules.
Sorry, Jules.
The days of the radio.
Yep.
Think of Muhammad Ali.
BC2, welcome to the chat. DDP is going to get worked in these last 2 rounds. Why? Yeah, I mean that's kind of the consensus.
That's what I thought.
We got over 40 in the chat, man. I can't believe it. Thank you guys so much.
Yes. And all right, so Jules, we got a bloodied up Sean Strickland. But
2 minutes and 12 seconds left in round number 4. Nice shot by DDP there.
DDP just landed a big one, but it didn't phase Sean whatsoever.
Yeah,
and now
Sean is more bloody, but DDP's vision is more compromised from the black eye. That was a nice shot there by Dricus.
A double jab, switch stance to a 2 off DDP, which landed pretty flush.
Nice kick by Dricus.
Question mark kick. Landed.
This is a good fight.
Both
Very
guys
close
are starting
fight.
to land a lot. All right.
Dricus going for another takedown. He gets it.
Dricus knows he's got to take this fight to the ground and eat up the clock. Now, how the judges are scoring takedowns up there in Canada, we don't know.
Yeah, as anybody's guess. But 5 of 7, 71% efficiency on the takedown. But again, Sean is up every single time.
Yeah, and nothing's even happening.
Yeah, it's almost not worth it for DDP, except for the fact that it's scoring to some degree on the scorecards, but they have to expend that energy. Look at the strikes. I mean, dead even in round number 3, 26-26. So far in round number 4, 21-24.
Yeah,
this is as close as a fight gets, actually.
Yeah. All right, so this round's going DDP. So right now, I've got Sean winning the first 2 rounds, DDP winning the next 2 rounds. It's going to come down to this 5th and final championship round, which will be starting in just about 2 minutes.
Yeah, Sean actually looks a little tired, which is surprising.
We never see Sean this tired, but everybody knows grappling's the most exhausting thing you can do. And the only thing more tiring than trying to take somebody down is trying to not get taken
Dricus got
down.
his mouth open, breathing a little heavy as well.
So Sean's not really doing anything to tax the body. And I wish he would. I feel like there's some strikes that could be getting through on
kicks
on DDP.
and such.
Even some boxing.
Nice duck by Sean.
If he's got that lead hook, he could slide down and get to the liver. And then just keep getting, there you go.
Nice shot.
Big 1-2, kind of a hook off of Sean Strickland. He landed flush, both of them.
Very close fight.
Yeah.
That's it for round number 4. So I think it's going to come down to this final round.
Yeah.
It could very, very well be 2-2.
Yeah. Guys, let us know what you think.
How do you guys score this fight so far? Let us know in the chat. Is this 2-2? Is it 3-1 Dricus? Is it 3-1 Sean? Let us know. I think the only acceptable
5th and final, baby.
Yeah, here we go. Man,
this
that last fight. Well, I was going to say the only acceptable scorecard is 2-2, but then I kind of backtracked on that. I think you could maybe have it 3-1 either way
for Dricus. It can't go for 3-1 for Sean.
Yeah, I guess you could have it 3-1 for.
Yeah.
If you had 2, 3, and 4 for Dricus, yeah, I think it's 2-2.
Yeah.
My call
how I
is that,
see it.
it's 2-2.
That's how I see it. I want to see the numbers.
So yeah, I mean, this is the fight that we all thought that it was going to be.
Look at it, bright and early in the morning in South Africa.
8 a.m. I thought Dricus has an amazing fan base, man.
They're loving it.
He really does. And it'll be cool. Like his team has said, look, we got more where that came from.
Yeah.
This is the beginning. So
this is the one who knocked the door down, and now everybody else is going to run in after him.
Look for Sean to stand in that monster energy can and bang in this last round. That's one of his calling cards, especially in the last couple minutes of the round.
Yeah. So, and we haven't seen Sean Strickland fight from behind in a while. And I'm not saying he's losing this fight, but we're seeing him have to win this round. Like against Izzy, he kind of knew full well in the last 2 rounds, I'm well ahead.
Yeah.
And
I think this is a must-win round for both guys.
Yeah. Even when he fought Imavov, he was just kind of winning the whole time, Yeah. So we haven't seen this out of him in a while. I think we're going to see an interesting game plan for this 5th and final round out of Sean Strickland.
Somebody said they have it 39-37 for DDP. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I got it 2-2.
That's how I see it. That's
fight is even 38-38. Yeah, Kevin Iole. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think it comes down. I think both guys absolutely cannot concede this round. They have to. They have to both act like this is the
beautiful.
The one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice jab there by Dricus.
Mixing the martial arts is what has really helped DDP make this a confusing fight for Sean. Sean's now got a bite down on his mouthpiece and sit in the pocket a little bit.
Yep. He's still landing a beautiful jab.
DDP's durable, man. Okay, so 99 head strikes to 55. So Sean is almost
doubled up on the head strike. But again, DDP has landed some that have been very significant. But as has Sean.
Yeah.
DDP certainly doing more work to the body.
Great shot. Sean just landed a flush too.
Yep.
And it sort of wobbled DDP, but it was more of a balance thing.
Nice.
Clean. Sean's staying composed. He doesn't look rocked or anything. DDP's finally throwing some leg kicks again.
Switch kick there by
Switch
DDP.
kick to the head, but it's just a little too slow. He's got a good guard every time Sean looks to do some damage.
Jamal Hill says this round is for the belt. I couldn't agree more.
I 100% agree.
Looking for a lead elbow there for DDP. Sean's still working that jab.
Okay, he landed kind of a looming overhand, but it sort of looked like it touched the ear of DDP. Man, that uppercut is there for Sean.
Yeah, it's surprising. He doesn't throw a lot of uppercuts, and he's, because he stays in such close range, you would think that he would do it more often because the opportunity's there, but nice shot by DDP there.
Yeah.
Man, that's just when you think the round's going
fight.
One way, it goes the other. Beautiful takedown defense by Sean.
Yep.
Man, I could see them rematching this. This is so close.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got Izzy there, and it depends on which way it goes, but this is a very close fight. I think this is going to be a split decision if it goes the final 2 minutes, which I think it probably will. Nice jab again by Strickland. Nice 2-2 by DDP. Oh, good. Beautiful 1-2 by Strickland there. DDP, the thing I love about the way DDP fights is he does not let any strike that lands on him go unanswered. He's immediately hitting you with a counter.
And I got to tell you, everybody talked about DDP's gas tank and how he's too explosive to keep gas. Man, he looks all right in the 5th round. I know he's tired, but Sean's tired too.
Yeah, this is, neither one of them looks to be substantially fresher than the other.
Tie goes to the champion is what's some dependable oxygen companies say.
Yeah.
I a lot of people say you got to take the belt to get the belt. And, I'm with that.
10 more significant strikes for Strickland in this round. And I think he's landed the better strikes. I think round 5 is going to Strickland.
For sure. This is 100% around. And the only takedown defense the only takedown was defended
immediately.
Easily.
Yeah. That jab is just money for Sean, man. Nice kick work by DDP. Yeah.
DDP will just throw stuff at you.
He's
he doesn't care, man.
His gas tank, I stand corrected. I criticize his gas tank, but
I think his chin and his unorthodox style is what's going to give everybody a problem.
Yeah.
Like, name somebody at 185 that I mean, if Sean Strickland's having a time with him, name somebody else at 185 that wouldn't have a bit of a time with him.
Yeah, Dricus is a problem for everybody. Nice.
Now Israel Adesanya, this is exactly
The kind of fight he wants. Yes.
because Sean is not countering.
Right.
Sean is not taking a step back.
Nice overhand there by Sean. Oh wow, 20 seconds left. Sean is coming on. Dricus taking a big inhale there. They're banging. The last 20 seconds.
This round's clear for Sean though.
Boom. Oh wow. This is a fight, man. What a great main event. On a card flying knee by Sean there. Look at this.
Beautiful.
3,
They're just going at
2,
it, guys.
1. Time. Wow. Incredible fight. Incredible main event. Guys, before they announce it, drop those scorecards. Who won that fight? Chris, can you put up another poll real quick? Who won that fight?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Nose, we got the window down. Nose is a little runny. We got
I got Sean 3 rounds to 2. First round, second round, and fifth round. I think DDP did a lot of good stuff in rounds 3 and 4. And even round 2 was close. But I think and still.
Yeah, 3-2 for Sean for me.
Who would have thought?
Very close
that
fight.
competitive. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And I thought for sure that, had it gone to decision that we would have a clear-cut winner, and we don't.
General consensus is Sean won, but we got a couple folks down there saying 3-2 Dricus.
Yep. So 3-2 Dricus, 3-2 Sean. Really good calling. I didn't need to. Jules, thank you. You're too kind. I appreciate it. We try to be sharp for the main event at least. I think wasn't our best work in that co-main event, but I just truthfully couldn't get up for it. It wasn't.
I thought it was comedy hour during the co-main event, so I'll give you better X's and O's whenever I know you're not watching and you're only listening. You got to be more sharp when people are here to hear what you got to say.
Like the old days of the boxing fight on the radio. You tuned in and listened to the commentators,
right?
But I think Strickland took that one. Man, but Dricus did land some good shots, man.
Oh, yeah. Dricus belongs. People always wondered, like, did he get too fast of a rise up? Only 5 fights or 6 fights. No,
guys, quickly dial in your vote here before they call it. We got 11 votes so far. 82% say Strickland won. And
we're going to turn it up just slightly so we can hear it. So don't leave if we get a little bit quiet, but we kind of need to hear what Buffer has to say. And see where Dana White's going to place this belt.
Then we'll give our final reactions.
Y'all give your final reactions and everything too. Let's
see here. So
I'm going in still 3 rounds to 2, but possibly a split decision.
Still, so 86-14 to Sean.
Yeah.
So most people think Sean won that fight.
And make sure when you're voting, guys, it's not biased. If you have a favorite, just try to call it. All right, turn it up a little bit.
All right, guys, I'm going to turn the volume up just a touch.
Bruce is on the microphone, y'all.
All right, Bruce announcing right now.
$48-47.
So we're going to have a split decision.
Strickland. Split decision, y'all. 48-47.
48-47 both ways so far. Wow, and new Dricus Du Plessis. Wow,
new
3-2 split decision for DDP.
Oh my gosh!
Not the decision I thought, but either way, I'm not mad at it. 3-2 either way is not a robbery. It'll be interesting to see which scorecards the judges scored each of the various rounds. So let's hear what Dricus has to say real quick. Dana White putting the belt on him now. We got DC in the octagon. Yeah, and the question is now, obviously the Izzy fight is the bigger fight, but in truth, split decision like that, Sean's the deserving number 1 contender.
Yeah, and I know I picked DDP to win, but I sure didn't think it was going to go
by
that
decision.
Way.
Yeah. I mean, wow. I really want to see what rounds they scored for DDP. It must be his dad there.
Yeah, big fella.
That's his girlfriend. Yeah, DDP's a big fella. So we got DC Du Plessis still giving his dad a hug, waiting to see, waiting to be interviewed. His mom now, his girlfriend. Yep.
They probably will.
All right, he's with DC now, so we're going to hear what he has to say. DC asking him, how does it feel to be the champ? He shouts out South Africa, speaking Afrikaans, getting the flag.
Yeah.
Hully Wheat. See, that's what somebody commented in the chat. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but saying you could probably hear South Africa from Toronto. I'm sure that. Let's see here. Here's the call. Oh, yeah, there you go. So, eruption in South Africa when he gets crowned champion.
Wow. Incredible.
Great fight.
Very impressive. DDP did it.
Yeah. DDP said he was looking for those takedowns, trying to score.
Yeah. 7-fight win streak.
Crediting Sean for his ability to get up from the takedowns.
Yeah, JD said points for takedowns that did nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
JD, you know, you have a curse. Anybody you want to see win
doesn't win.
Cannot win.
So the question is, guys, what do y'all think? Does Sean deserve the immediate rematch with DDP, or is the Izzy DDP fight just too big to pass up on for UFC 300?
That's what they're going to do.
The question is, I mean, DDP's eye's pretty busted up. He's not going to be able to spar at all for a good month.
Yeah.
You know,
they made Sean return fast. So
yeah. Can he turn it around for 300 that quickly? Saying that crediting Sean's power, it's sneaky power. The jab feels like somebody hits you in the face with a rock.
It took him a while to get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So points for takedowns that did nothing. South Africa's Zaid Mohammed. It means they don't know what we know. Oh, dangerous. I mean, they don't know what we know is what that translates to.
Oh, okay.
And then those takedowns were worthless. Yeah, I agree that, like, for me, it wasn't the takedowns that did it. It was, if you want to call it 3-2 for Dricus, I'm okay with it, but not off the takedowns. You know, the takedowns, they were negated by the fact that Sean got right up, in my opinion.
And it looks like
so DDP's asking him who he wants now.
DC, yeah. A lot of rivalries. Who do you want to see? Oh, Hamzat wants to fight him.
See you soon, UFC 300. So he's saying it doesn't look like the Izzy's. He's calling out Adesanya. So Dricus wants Adesanya. Hamzat chimed in and said, I'll see you at UFC 300. Dude, the Speedos are in absolute full effect tonight.
These guys are they're wild off. All right, DC is going to talk to Sean.
Talking to Sean now.
I know y'all want to hear that.
Joey Cruz, DDP versus Chimaev. Yeah, I mean, that's a big fight. Sean said from day one it was going to be a war. Sean making no excuses, saying he thought he won, but doesn't matter.
He's a man of the people.
Yeah. Sean lost nothing in this fight. Sean is the people's champ, no doubt.
I'd like to see a rematch.
100%. Yeah. You know, Sean win. You know, they'll probably do the Adesanya fight just because that's too big to pass up on. But you know, no doubt that Sean is deserving of a rematch there.
100%.
Man, well, that is just over 3 hours. Do you have anything to say in closing, Nick?
No, you know, it's always fun when it's a North American card, or I guess just an American card, because you can hear Joe Rogan kind of do his little recap of everything. Yeah. But, you know, when he's not there, you just got to, you know, kind of call it once the last guy exits the octagon, and Dricus Du Plessis is the man of the night. If you want the belt, it goes through South Africa for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. I mean, he looked good. And I saw it a different way, but 3-2 either way. I knew it was going to be 3-2. I just thought that Strickland did enough. There he kissed his coach. And, Dricus, man, he seems like one of the good guys.
Yeah.
He seems like a genuinely good person. He works really hard, and it paid off for him, man. Yeah.
Question was, styles make fights. Does his style lend into what Izzy Adesanya does? Because I think that fight is a totally different fight.
Yeah. Hey, cheers, Danger Mouse. If you're heading out, man, we really appreciate you sitting with us, hanging with us the entire time. You don't really even understand how much we appreciate you. You're always helping us. And
yes, sir.
Your name comes up all the time, not just when we're on camera, but even off camera.
Off camera as well. And we will get across the pond one of these days and hang out in person, or IRL, as the kids say. So, guys, that is it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. And DDP is your new champion of the world. Sean Strickland looked great. The main event delivered. We'll see what happens next. But you guys know, as always, tomorrow we're going to be back in the studio recapping this thing.
And not to personalize it, because this is the night of the fighters, but this was the best live stream we've ever had numbers-wise. I can't wait to see what it does. And the recaps are going to be even better. So y'all make sure you tune in, push the notification so you don't miss anything. We always want to see you over here supporting the channel. We appreciate you. We can't do this without you. We're growing, and we're not stopping until we're the #1 channel in all of MMA, all of combat sports, and then eventually we're just taking over the entire industry. So let's go, y'all.
Love you guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Peace.
Get yourself in the Discord.